Last time on Metanoia Blues. After being captured at Fort Fathomless, the crew of the Storm Chaser is freed from the dungeons by N, who arms them with both intel and their collection of daggers. N's plan is to get to the industrial works of the fortress and take down the spell engine that powers the skeleton army. This is easier said than done, as they will have to contend with skeletons between them and the engine. Meanwhile, Luca is invited to spar with Wulfrun IV, the heir to the fortress. During this, Luca recalls a flash of his long-lost memories of a similar spar with his childhood friend, Ulrich Ir Falkenturm. His performance during the fight is enough to ingratiate him to Wulfrun IV, who says Luca may get his weapons back at the Castellan's approval. Luca then suggests a game of chess. Nearly 200 miles away, Willa and Coulton, aboard the Krakenslayer, are racing towards Fort Fathomless to save their friends, despite the exhaustion and lingering tension between them. The flight is interrupted by a surprise assault from the flagship of the Dire Sharks that the trio robbed at the convocation, the Killjaws, accompanied by the Lavander galleon, the Provocation. Lavander and the Dire Sharks aim to take down the stolen airship. The crew quickly springs to battle, trying to avoid the bombardment of Ballista and Mangonel, while harried by Quetzalcoatlus riders. With a combination of Coulton's storm sorcery, Willow's artificing, and Varys Greenleaf's newfound skill at the helm, the Krakenslayer escapes, leaving their assailants fuming in their wake. We return to the Krakenslayer speeding away towards the cliffs of Stonespur, under the steady hand of Varys Greenleaf. He watches Willow and Coulton out on the deck, sharing a high five that stalls them both momentarily, and smiles to himself, before the grating voice of Claptrap comes blaring over the speaking trumpet. "The Matrix is destabilizing! Reduce the speed and get us somewhere where you can make emergency repairs!" Varys quickly deactivates the dual core, leaving only the air ring flowing between the battered struts of the ship as the ship coasts on its momentum. So, Willow, you're there on the ship. You've just had your little moment. You're escaping high speed. The fire ring has just been deactivated and you are decelerating gradually.
Okay.
As the ship is coming in over stony cliffs. Can you give me a perception check?
Yes. Quick confirmation question.
Yes.
Is it implying that we're going to stop?
Not
or
stop, but get
slow.
somewhere where slow so that repairs can be made.
Okay, but we're doing them on the fly.
Hopefully not stop.
Literally.
Yes. It's just slowing down.
Yeah, also these are... Stone Spur sounds like the worst place for an airship to land. Granted all the stones and the spurs. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We're not an air balloon, but you land your ship on rocks. Okay, sorry. So I'm rolling a perception check.
Yes, please. Disadvantage because you are still very tired. 10.
10.
Well, you're taking a look and all but the top strut is damaged and the port strut most heavily damaged. You see Bjorn and May rush up on deck with rope. And are gonna try and secure the most damaged strut. So May will make an acrobatics check. 24,
Oof.
very nice. And then a sleight of hand check to tie the rope.
Oh my!
Natural 20.
Girl,
Cool.
is this your first time on an airship?
Damn, maybe.
Sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
And then Bjorn makes an athletics check to like basically leverage his weight on the rope and like pull the strut into place. Like Mei has basically like with a lifeline attached, high wire walked onto the strut as like delicately as she can, secured the rope around the biggest breach, and like is on her signal. Bjorn like hauls, like leveraging the entire 7 feet something of his weight to like anchor it back in place.
Awesome. How helpful. Can I ask a quick
Yes.
confirmation thing? Just so people know what to visualize. People is me. When you
Yes.
refer to the struts,
I assumed it was the thing with the circles, but I could be very wrong.
the little crab claw things, and the
Yes.
yeah.
Little pincers.
So the way that I gather it is the struts are the two the things that hold the elemental matrix, right? The elemental ring.
Yes. The elemental matrix runs throughout the entire ship, but like the struts hold the ring in place specifically.
Yeah. So the struts, one on either side, one at the bottom, and then one that over, like kind of like a bent
over the
mast
top.
at the top.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're like little. I like to refer to these ones as crab claws because the Kraken Slayer one kind of looks like crab claws.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the big overhead one is the one that Mei just corrected, right?
No, it's
Or
this one
the port.
here. Yes.
The port side one.
The overhead one was actually not damaged.
Oh, I thought you said it was. Sorry, my bad.
All except the top one.
Ah, yay! That's good. Okay, cool. Feel free to continue.
Yes. So, below decks, Claptrap is trying to compensate for the damage to the matrix, because the struts have been damaged, the like flow is struggling.
The flow is struggling.
Yeah. You know, it's like a leaky pipe. Ooh. 11. Claptrap is struggling to stabilize things.
That's okay. I feel like, does that visualize on the surface with the elemental ring?
Yeah, I think on an 11 you can see like it's sort of choppy, and like the ring, instead of being a smooth concentric circle, you can see that sort of like wobbling.
Okay. Can I then, based on my observations of, well, I only rolled a 10, but that wasn't, was that for looking at what the rest of the crew's doing?
It was a general assessment. You can see things that are obvious, but like you
Yeah.
would have to get closer to get like a better read on it.
What I'm imagining at the moment is I'm kind of standing at the front of the ship overlooking the big picture, which is to say the
Yeah.
ring. I'm seeing Mei and Bjorn handling the strut. And I'm seeing Coulson and Varys are handling the driving,
Yeah.
sort of distant, kind of like the glare of the light against the window type thing. So I'm not like looking. But anyway, that's not really the point. And then Claptrap's away, but then the wheel is wavering. And I think because I've seen Bjorn and Mei doing okay, but I've seen the wheel
Yeah.
wavering, I know that I have spider climb, and I might need that to do some of the repairs while we remain flying, because we don't have an
Yeah.
option to land. So Willow's boots are a little bit like magically sticky, like just in that way, like they're still not wearing their normal boots. But for now, I think as a matter of urgent check-in, I'll go see if I can assist Claptrap.
Okay.
And I set off at pace.
You rush off, and you can hear like the sound of Claptrap swearing up a storm as he's trying to keep things under control. Just like, I just fixed the damn thing. Can't believe I have to repair this in less than 24 hours after she got into flight. Just like yelling, swearing, cursing Khorvaire specifically for being a brown-nosing busybody.
Yeah. Oh, now's not the time. I think Willow hits like the wall of noise emerging from. I imagine, like, you know, the cartoon, like clang 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 sounds as well. Even if he's not doing anything, you just get that pipes hitting sounds.
Yeah.
He's just a loud person.
Yeah, he's just a loud old man.
He walks and makes the sound of like a toolbox jangling in someone's boot, or like a ute driving past. You know, oh, what's the non-Aussie way of a utility truck driving past that pace? Anyway, Anyway, I'm going to prepare myself a little for his noise because, I mean, I still have a headache. I got my glasses back, but I've been suffering all of those problems, plus no sleep. So I brace myself to be in his presence before ducking into the room.
Yeah, I think he is too busy trying to, like, get the situation under control to have any foul words for you specifically.
Oh, okay. But does he acknowledge me, or do I have to announce myself?
I think the acknowledgement is, like, a frantic gesture towards the problem area.
You know what? Willow's still a little bit on a high. And, you know, hearing him bitch about Khorvaire did make Willow laugh on the inside. So I think Willow's going to drop a, help has arrived. They misread the tone. I feel like they feel that immediately. Let's not joke about help has arrived, actually. Yeah, they're going to just try and get to kneel in front of what Claptrap was standing in front of and have a look.
Cool. Either Claptrap can give you assistance for a flat roll, or you can give Claptrap assistance.
I would like to get my mitts in this so he can give me assistance and bring me to a flat roll.
Yes.
What am I rolling?
Tinker's Tools, please.
$25.
25.
What'd I say? Help is arrived.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, as soon as you settle in, there's like you settle in and you lock in so quick of like calibrating the matrix as it exists to like have a more stable output. This slows the airship to like a crawl, but it will keep you floating and like give you enough time to repair stuff without excessive risk. Roll me 44 plus 4.
4d4.
Yes.
15.
You restore 15 hit points to the Kraken Slayer.
Wait, plus 4 though? Because that's 19.
19 then, yes. Sorry, I didn't see that you hadn't.
Let's go! No, I'm just saying.
Rolled so many fours, it got lost.
Yeah. I rolled excellently. So added 19
you did.
HP back. Last round, see if this matches you. We had 181 hit points.
Yes.
Okay. Solid number, hell yeah. Yay! Willow looks satisfied. I also imagine on the top of the deck, what you see is like, you know, that kind of flickering, wobbling. It's such a scary sight, I imagine, to like, there's a kind of invisible ring of air, and it's so constant that it's clean all the time, but when it wavers, it's kind of like, it's so
you can
visually
see.
unsettling.
Yeah. I mean, like, I always imagine that because of the magical nature of it, it does glow, so it is still visible, but it is like if you've ever seen like a spinning top or something like come out of like a stable spinning motion, that sort of like chaotic pattern of like wobbling is what I imagine that it had been. It's very unsettling to look at. So it's
Yeah.
really, really relieving when Willow manages to like calibrate the engine enough to like compensate for the damage.
Yeah. My goodness. I'm just imagining the POV top deck.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna notice that first? But the drivers, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you see Willow disappear below deck, and then all of a sudden the ring is not doing that thing that makes you nervous that's gonna drop out the sky. Excellent.
Yeah.
Anyway, good. Willow looks chuffed with themselves, but they also can still feel that pull of their boots back to the deck, and they know that they have limited time. How long do you reckon that took?
I want to say that took you about 15 minutes
Okay.
total. Since you cost spider climb, which lasts like an hour, so you have about 45 minutes to like get beneath the ship and start fixing the main strut.
Yeah, I did spend some time with it in battle. So what, like 40 minutes left? I know that battle was only technically like a minute.
Yeah,
Or a few seconds.
I don't think. Yeah, I think it's like you've got like 44 minutes left.
Right. Just to be specific. Yeah, that's really important. Okay, so all right. 45 minutes, easy. I think Willow dusts their hands of that pretty quickly and then is right away before Claptrap can kind of say anything else. Willow's up and heading back out.
Yeah.
They need to do that as quickly as possible. It is a concentration spell too.
Yes. I think Claptrap is also like now that the Matrix is stabilized, he's like gathering up tools and is like he shouts here and basically chucks you like magic wood glue and a clamp.
Can I roll to see if I catch? I just think it's funny if it doesn't.
Dex check.
Okay. At disadvantage, sorry.
Yes. This is a skill check. It hits you on the shoulder.
I just love the vision. You know that like throwing someone a printer vine? I think it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just like, yeah, you just throw it at me. Like that when you like throw a treat to a dog and it hits it in the face, like that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willow's like, I'm so proficient. I'm so. Yeah. No, it's like shamefully pick it up off the floor. Willow looks at him like, you couldn't have waited until I turned around. Anyway, whatever. Handed it to me when I was right beside you. Like, you know, that
Claptrap
look that
is
gave,
like basically like putting on like a little harness of like tools and stuff and like pulling his goggles down and like securing everything in place. He is fully like, if you thought he was jangly before, oh boy. And is like marching, like basically marches through your legs out the door.
He throws wood glue at me, and then I have to step over him. Oh my gosh.
No time.
No time. You just walked past me. You could have handed me the wood glue. Anyway, whatever. This is why I don't miss. Sorry, it's okay. It's good. Anyway, whatever. I am going to go outside now. Trudging pretty silently behind Claptrap, jangling away.
Yeah.
Difference between an artificer and an engineer. Anyway, don't worry. I'm being bitter. Don't worry. Okay. I pick up the wood glue and the tools, and I'll head out. So I'm assuming that the struts need assistance, or is it the below deck strut?
It's the one underneath that you are most suited to repair at the moment because you have spider climb. Claptrap is joining Bjorn and May, who are like doing sort of temporary work of like hold it in place so it doesn't fall off while we're trying to fix things.
Bro, we are fixing an airplane's wings while we're flying the plane.
Yep.
Or rather, it's engines, I guess.
Yeah, like
but also
the
the wings, because
turbines.
the physical damage.
Yeah.
Also, the back fins were affected by magic too. Is that also?
Yes, they're covered in glue.
Ugh. Okay, so that would be my second thing, because that's more navigating. But the actual ship staying afloat is the struts. So I'm going
Yes.
to.
Yeah. At the moment, basically, you can't steer properly.
Mhm.
So it's a good thing that you're not going very fast,
Meals.
because you would not be able to deal with any elevation or obstacles.
Okay, because I'm gonna head over the ship. I'm gonna say though, with the, we didn't really pause on this last session because it was in the thick of battle, but
Yes.
Willow walked off the edge of the ship. Oh, sorry, and also someone rolled a nat one and made the entire thing like took a certain type of attention on that, so I didn't really get to think about the feeling of walking over the side of the ship, not only not physically, but like what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing a view that no one sees.
Yep.
I'm just imagining that brief pause of like, I don't think Willow is in the habit of looking down.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because they're always focused on something else. But I do imagine now there is that moment of like looking down at all the, I'm assuming trees. I assume Stone Spur has trees, even though it is stone.
Yeah, I would say at the moment, like, I don't think there's like trees as you're coming in. I think this is like very coarse, like low-lying shrubs. This is sort of like windswept highlands of Scotland sort of thing. Imagine that sort of scenery. So
Hear
like
distant
the
bagpipe.
Orkney Isles, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So imagine like the cliffs of the Orkney Islands sort of things. Where it's like, it's green, but it's like real sort of windy. There's like low-lying gorse.
Gorse?
Yes. Gorse is a type of plant.
Just without the momentum of battle, I think there is that moment where Willow looks over and experiences like the basic living feeling of like, whoa. And it's not like they're scared of heights or anything, but like the lurch.
It is it is a hell of a. It is a woo.
Yeah. It's that little lurch, and like also, it's not even like an emotion or a feeling. It's your gut, like when you that vertigo. That's what the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
So, that in mind though, I think that's immediately registers as they won't have a lot of time to be upside down because they've already got horrible headaches. Their head's gonna explode. So I feel like how long can I stay here? What I was looking up on the internet before was how long can someone stay upside down safely?
Good question.
I guess we'll just see how fast I can do it.
The longest headstand was 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Okay.
Which is a long time.
Yeah, look, I also imagine Willow to do... Oh my gosh. Can Willow... Is the strut able to be sat on?
If it was structurally sound, yes.
Can I prioritize working upside down to get the strut stable enough that I can sit on it to complete the rest of the
Yes.
things? Okay, let's
Yes.
try the first roll, see if I don't drop off into the gorse. What do I do?
This would either be a Tinker's Tools or Carpenter's Tools roll.
To secure it to the ship first, I think Carpenter's Tools.
Yeah.
At disadvantage. 19. Bruno
Goddamn.
Saltbeard, this is for you. Bruno Saltbeard, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't say to do that.
Amazing. Okay, roll 2d4 plus 2.
2d4 plus 2. That would be 8 all up.
8. Okay. You repair 8 hit points to one of the to the bottom strut.
How much hit points do they have all up?
They each have 50 HP. I think this one was like down in the low 10s.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Good. Now that it's secure, so that I don't... Can I roll something like a D10 to see how many minutes I spent upside down?
Sure.
This is pretty granular, but it's just for the vibes of how to
Yeah.
think about Willow. Oh my god,
9
9.
minutes.
That's so bad. I've got an image of Willow, like, basically, it's kind of like, body's awkward, but in a way where there's no way around it. They just have to be awkward to do this. There's a kind of like holding the strut with one arm and then dislodging a boot and then finding the strut, you know?
Yeah.
And then dislodging the other boot. So Willow's doing this like split. One of my feet is stuck on the ceiling. The other one is like grappling around for the bent strut under the ship, and then like sliding.
I would say spider climb would allow you to crawl also. So like I think like obviously Willow prefers to have their hands free to like use their tools, but I do think they can like sticky web like gecko onto the side and like slowly like ease themselves onto the strut.
Wait, let me just look up spider climb. One will move up, down, and across vertical while leaving its hands free. Okay. But climbing speed equal to its walking speed, so I could arguably also have hands.
Yes.
Okay, so then you get the different image of Willow, like, holding the hull of the ship with their hands and then dislodging one of their feet, like, both of their boots, one at a time. And then, like, kind of like rodeo sliding down the strut is what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Like a fire, fire.
I think give me an athletics check for this maneuver.
Oh, okay. I fall to my death.
At least you're hot.
Just
though.
No, you don't.
I got a 15.
You're good. You're good.
I managed.
You can. Cool. Your arms. Everything is going to hurt, but like you're stable. You're secure. The adrenaline is keeping you going.
Cool. Good. And I do imagine I'm kind of like next to the part of the strut that's as close as I can get without being whipped up in the elemental ring.
Yeah. Yes.
To sort of do some of the more finicky tinkering.
Yes.
To re-secure that part of the strut. Yeah?
Yes. I will say you also feel like the effect, this is not a thing that like you register consciously, but like the thing about airships is that they are surrounded by wind wards on all solid surfaces, so there's like a little bubble of like undisturbed air essentially around them. So it's not like you're like getting whipped by high speed winds while you're doing this. It is like relatively still, with the air sort of like flowing over and around the wind wards. So like it's a bit like a full ship airfoil thing.
Yeah. The only whoosh of wind I imagine happening is the constant like oscillating ring. It's like when I imagine Willow sits close to it, it's got that kind of like whoosh.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
slides
There's
close to it, really.
Yeah. Industrial fan.
Yeah.
Give me another perception check.
Dang, 13.
13. You're focusing mostly on your work, but you hear the sound of like spells being cast towards the fins.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna make check for Coulton.
Oh, Presto?
A little bit. It's like a combination of like using his storm magic to like literally like hair dry the glue off
Nice.
the fins.
Smart. True, he doesn't just have to stand there and be like, hit that dial. turn that wheel. He can do other stuff.
Yeah,
Did it work?
it's working.
You're a man who can do both.
Well, I did. But then he did other stuff. Anyway, what?
And then you very much ungot that man.
Well, I mean, question.
You left that man.
Anyway, so I recall you said we were winning or something, working together.
Yeah. Yes.
Working together in tandem vicariously, but
yes.
not in the same
Yes,
place.
yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, give me another Tinker's Tools check to continue your repairs on the strut.
Yeah, just as an aside, I imagine Bula hears the magic going off, and it's like the 13 perception is they recognize it. There's little imagine like
Ear flicky.
they're gonna blame it on the what'd you say? Sorry.
Ear flicky towards the sound.
No, it's the little ear flicky, and then I'm gonna say Willow blames it on the like head spins of like all the blood has just rushed back into their body, but they get that little like.
Yeah.
It feels like a shiver up their spine that they're going to ignore.
A little bit giddy.
Giddy's too immature of a word. It's something else, something worse.
Giddy in the sense of like the way you feel giddy after like a roller coaster of like whoa.
Yeah. No, there's something. It's something else. I'm gonna leave it vague because I can't describe it. But I mean that is naturally there because I am currently seated on a strut at the bottom of an airship flying over land.
Yep.
So there is the roller coaster feeling just naturally. Not to mention there is now magic going off behind me and an elemental ring in front of me. There is a familiarity in this arrangement that's making Willow feel a bit shivery. Tinker's Tools check?
Yes, please.
God,
21
at disadvantage.
God damn. You are so good at this.
Yeah.
Roll another 2d4 plus 2.
People want to know what it looks like when I don't win. I guess they'll never know. Anyway, I'm coming off the back of like a 5-year not winning phase, so I can be cocky for a bit. 6 is what I got.
8 total. So add another plus 8 to
another
the
8.
strut.
Wow.
So you've repaired about 19 damage. No.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
16.
It's 16 damage.
This particular strat, or do they all share the same HP?
They each have individual HP.
Okay.
This particular strut.
Cool. Goodness gracious. How long do you reckon this takes me? Should I roll another D10, D20?
Roll 2 D10s, please.
Yeah, that. Ooh, nice, accurate. 15.
Okay. Yeah, you are very swift at working through this.
I'm in my element.
So
I'm in my space. I'm in my area. Sorry, what?
Let me do some counting for how much time has elapsed. Okay, so you've run down the clock on your spider climb by about 39 minutes. So you have 20-ish to do. You would say I would say give me one more Tinker's Tools check on repairing this strut.
Ooh, dang,
12.
still a 12. But like you can see, I'm flagging.
Yeah.
Well, flagging. I'm still getting above average while flagging, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, 12 is not enough. You don't make anything worse, but the repairs are ineffective.
Yeah,
and
that's
don't fix more. Roll another 2d10, please.
16.
16. You have 5 minutes left. You can either, on your spider climb spell, you can either try and continue this or return to the deck and try again later. The strut is not going to fall off, but it is still heavily damaged, I would say.
I've only gotten it back up about halfway.
Yeah.
I've only got 5 more minutes left on Spider Climb. Granted, I'm not using it presently, but it is kind of like a lifeline to me at this moment.
Yes.
It's not smart to do anything else. I think the not frustration, but the like knowing when to stop is part of Willow's expertise as well. And so when like they're not able to do it, they know that there's plenty more on the ship that needs to be done that they can put their attention to. They just need to stay afloat to do it. No point exhausting themselves on this uselessness if it's not going to happen at the moment. It'll happen later. Willow's going to, because they also have to figure out how to, they also have to kind of like climb their way back up the strut and then go back to walking. And I feel it's going to feel like hell. It's like walking upside down, or they don't want to crawl. No, they're going to crawl up the side of the ship again. They would have crawled last round too, because there's no way for them to walk up against gravity like that. So yeah, I think Willow's gonna head back up, looking a bit like about all that upside down time.
Yep. You feel you know what? Give me a Constitution saving throw to see how well you're handling everything.
Can I do an athletics check to see how well I dismount the strut as well?
Yeah, make an athletics check, please. Average!
Yep. Just average. Whereas Willow like did the cool like my hands are on the deck and then I'm like one leg at a time. They look really like cool about it, right? Coats billowing out behind them. Oh, look at this sky pirate so effortlessly like defying gravity over the vast sea. And then like this next part is like like it's so
you know the
it's so
you know
inelegant.
how you know when people are like trying to like go rock climbing and they get really shaky legs.
God. Yeah, I don't just crawl back. I'm like dragging myself back. Like the people that get the shaky legs when they step on the glass floors over mountains. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Willow looks like hell as they're going back up the side of the ship. And
give me a con save throw flat.
12.
You're doing okay, but boy are you tired.
Yeah. God, I imagine it takes me forever to climb up the side of the ship, and then by the time I've got like my arms like slung over the rail, Willow's feeling
you can feel the spider climb just like wearing off, and usually it's the crawling out of a pool.
Exactly. Oh, it's so like Willow went off the ship looking so cool, and then came back last time looking so like victorious. This time it's like knee over the rail. And then, like, I feel like they kind of flop onto the deck, like, on their side. Like, they roll. Yeah. And they land on their back. Yeah. But there's still work to do. So Willow lays there for, like, just a few seconds.
Okay, Claptrap is making progress on the other strut. Seven. Let him do another one.
Dang.
Ugh. He's struggling.
It's okay. I'm back. I think there is a moment though where Willow like lands on the deck. Holy shit! Claptrap rolled a nat 20.
Yeah. So the 9 is like what he was doing while you were like underneath the ship. You crawl back on and like you hear Claptrap swearing over the sound of the wind. Bjorn is holding like a lifeline as like Claptrap is like harnessed out there. Like carabiner fully like goggles down. Magical equivalent of like welding torch.
You know what I just realized? There's a bit in the Simpsons Halloween episode where Bart looks out the window and there's this goblin that's like ripping out the guts of the bus, the school bus. Sorry, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just imagining Claptrap as that energy always.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Oh man. Anyway.
Anyway.
Look, I think, especially because he rolled nat 20 just then, he's doing good.
Yeah. Yes. Now he's doing good. Like it's as you come aboard the ship and like.
Yes. No, like you can describe what Willow hears, I guess, as they landed on the deck and kind of rolled floppy onto their back.
Yeah. It's the sound of Claptrap locking the fuck in. Bjorn holding the line steady and like monitoring the ropes. Mei Mei standing off a little bit to the side, uncoupling from her own like rope harness that was used to like help her get onto the strut, and basically looking around for what she can do.
And the elemental ring above me, because I imagine that's what Willow looks up to see.
Yeah.
How's it looking?
Slow, gentle stream of air that is like stabilized and
So it's steady.
yes.
I think, you know, when you haven't slept for ages and you get horizontal at all,
Mm.
and there is just that immediate like wash of. In this instance, it's like being on the cusp of I could nap here because it's so like everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. The ship's flying well. Everyone sounds like they always do. And I think Willow kind of starts like get that kind of blurry vision of them floating between spaces. It just feels like in the good old days, you know, like if you're looking from the outside, you see Willow there in their like lightning armor and their Syrian jacket, the colorful jacket, and their new glasses and everything. But like if you look again, it's also just Fen watching the sky.
Yeah.
In their like black bandana and their less opaque glasses and their, you know, little bomber jacket and everything. It's just like in that moment, Willow's kind of floating between both spaces, and I think they almost feel like they could fall asleep right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just while watching the sky go past.
I think as you're like lying there, unfortunately it's still like that gentle drizzling rain.
Only adds to it.
Mei Mei looms over you as like, you okay?
Willow jumps as she snaps that open, like snaps that that illusion free.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's a completely new face. Who the hell is that? You know, like the visual is like Fen looking up at Mei Mei and then like tilting their head like, who? And then Willow snapping back like, oh, yes. Willow will sit up. Yes, fix the strut for now. And now Willow will go back to sort of directing her.
Yeah.
Yeah. With whatever needs to be done.
There's the other strut on the far side. So, like, the starboard strut could probably use a hand to be secured. It's been secured with, like, it's not as badly damaged as the other two, but it's still, like, a little bit banged up.
Okay. I saw her doing the stunts on the other strut, yeah?
Yeah.
Willow will look to Mei Mei now. First of all, Willow will say to her, you've been doing well with the repairs. It's your first time aboard an airship, yes?
Mei Mei shrugs. First time working on one.
Maybe you could help me with this. Willow's going to accept an assist on this. Or direct her if there's stuff that she's better suited to do.
Yeah. So, do you want Mei Mei to give you assistance on another tinker's or carpenter's tools check, or you want something or to do something else?
What's the nature of the damage to this strut?
It's like the wood is fracturing, like
Okay.
it's physical damage. So
I imagine I saw Mei Mei doing tightrope stuff before, yeah? So she's got like good balance and
Yes.
finesse in that regard. Then I think I'm going to be asking her to help like physically reinforce the strut so that it has like actual like secure harness type things to keep it in place while I do the tricky business of using the wood glue, I guess, that Claptrap chucked at me, to do the kind of hands-on stuff. So she's helping to secure that so it's basically so it's level, and so I'm not competing with the wind and whatnot. So I do think we get that shot of her like balance beaming out there with the with the strut while Willow's mending.
Yep. Cool.
So carpenter's check. I got a 19 on carpenter's tool
nice.
check again. Shout out again
give
to
me
Bruno Saltbeard.
Yeah, give me another 2d4 plus 2.
The distant sound of Bruno Saltbeard being so unhappy with our OHS at the moment. 2d4 plus 2? 8 in this case.
Yes.
Another 8!
Cool. Yeah.
I am consistent.
Nice.
24 restored. Halfway there.
Yes.
Well,
for
more
a
than
total
halfway.
of 66 restored.
66?
You're making good time. Yeah, the 66 damage restored total to the struts.
Oh, including Claptrap.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right. And I think we will cut away from the Kraken Slayer.
The image of us all working together.
And move to different area. So, we cut to the dungeons of Fort Fathomless, where the Storm Chaser crew is tending to their wounds after the last round of combat. Gardenia clambers off the top of the elevator and meets with Emma. So Emma says, "Took you long enough." And Gardenia says, "Was doing recon. How much has our uninvited guest told you?" She gestures to you.
And kicking Bones out of the elevator and like looking at how to work it at this time.
Seems like a standard elevator, but with more steps. Older. I will say the floors aren't labeled with descriptions, they're just numbered.
It's okay, I fell all the way down, so I took a note of what I fell past. So I have an idea of where I'm going.
Yeah. Yep. Emma is like sort of recapping to Gardenia what she knows so far, which admittedly is not much. In the background, we can hear one of the triplets who's sporting a few new cuts say, I'm starving. And, like, she gets promptly hushed by the bosun, this, like, large bugbear woman going, "If you die, you never eat again. Be strong."
I love her.
People are tending their wounds.
Do I have my rations on me at all? Do you think?
Do you?
I mean,
Did you take them
technically
with
in my
you?
inventory I have rations. And probably keeps a little bit of food on them, given their history. So maybe not all the
Yeah.
rations, but a little bit is possible.
Maybe.
That makes sense.
I would say...
They're made to be portable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you think
And
you
all
would
the
have, like, a
rations.
day's... Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably a day at least.
Yeah, that seems like an end thing to do.
So what would you say is in a ration pack for a day's rations?
I think it depends. I genuinely usually imagine it like the sort of Industrial Revolution era equivalent of like a power bar type thing, of like a protein bar type thing, but it's probably like a very thick, dense, like nut cake type thing.
Yeah.
Of like, this is a solid baked something that will keep really well, probably wrapped in like wax paper, you know, like a really like a granola brick, if you will.
Okay. Is it big enough that I could slice it up into 12 pieces?
Oh god.
They would be 12 very small pieces, but yeah.
Would you say that's better
Is
than
that
nothing?
worth
Yeah.
doing? Yeah.
Yes.
Or like, should it be like
Yes.
3 people get food?
I don't want to
So that
start
they may
that
be
fight. Either everyone's
Nah.
getting food or no one's getting food.
Okay, Coneth. Jeez.
Yeah, En's gonna hear the complaint about food, realize nobody's eaten in a very long time, including themselves. Take the ration bar out and like take the knife. They have about 2 knives and the letter opener. They have about 3 knives still on them. By the way, and they're going to start trying to like section off bits of the ration bar.
Give me a sleight of hand check for evenly dividing food.
Okay. 9.
It's a little lopsided, but like you don't really have a good chopping space, but it'll do. It's good enough.
The bigger ones I am going to like section off to like Orkon and Emma, and the ones that seem more likely to be fighting with me. That's going to be how En kind of sorts out, like some of them are obviously a little bit bigger than others. So those ones will go to the ones most likely to be engaging in physical activities.
Yeah.
So En's going to pop out of the elevator, kicking bones out with them.
Yeah.
Someone say they're hungry, and just kind of go over to the triplets and hand out the small chunks, and then go to the others and start offering small chunks of ration bar.
You get a, oh my gosh, yay! Other people are much less psyched about it.
It's fine.
I imagine one of the triplets just like slams her hand to her face to put the,
Oh, yeah.
the little block into her mouth.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget to chew.
I got it.
And gives a thumbs up and toddles away to go hand out the rest. Not much, but I don't know when we're gonna get another chance.
Yeah. Emma says, you fell down past us. What's at the bottom there?
Okay, I'm gonna try to explain this a bit better than I explained it before. So there's a cave at the bottom of the ladder. There's a little landing with kind of a dock, and then a pond. And it's under the water. Like, I'm pretty sure we are either below the surface of the ocean or under it by now. And then there's this pocket underneath. I think that's where they're storing the barrels of oil that went up just a few minutes ago. And maybe some skeletons, because the elevator went down empty and came out with barrels and skeletons. I didn't see anything when I was down there. Other than the pond.
Emma is going to make an intelligence check.
Ooh,
Hey,
Miss
18.
Brightwind.
She like is sort of like chews on her lip and goes, okay, I don't know about storage,
Oh, yeah?
but skeletons don't need to breathe,
Yes.
so presumably they could get whatever's at the bottom of the seafloor and bring it back up without worrying.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
So, okay, I have an idea.
Oh, yeah?
If there was a recent round of resupplying and that fuel they are taking up is for the engine, there should be a reasonable amount of time before there's another round.
I'd assume so. They probably just went up, dropped it off, and came back down to cause us trouble. So it stands to reason the barrels are still probably just sitting out, too. That's flammable. Could be pretty
Well-
good for us.
Yeah. Not great if we explode everything and we're still underwater. I don't know how well you can swim.
Oh, I have a potion of water breathing, but the rest of you would be a problem, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna explode everything. I wouldn't come and bust you guys out of your cells just to screw you over.
Drown us? Yeah. Thanks. Anyway. Emma turns to the rest of the crew and says, okay. Mags, you be in charge. Go downstairs, rest, check out that thing at the bottom of the water. Blossom, she turns to the Warforged woman, who says, yes, I'm sorry, I don't have much in the way of healing resources at the moment. Emma says, don't worry about that. Do you think you could see if there's a way out through the water? And Blossom nods and goes, oh, yes. I don't breathe. Emma then calls over, Donna, Glenn, come with me. Rest of you head downstairs.
Alright, so who's getting the elevator? If we go up to the engine room in the elevator, that probably means eyes are gonna be on us. Well, haha, eyes. And she kicks the skull on us pretty quickly. But I could go ahead on the ladder, or we could go as a group on the ladder if we can make sure that the elevator is not going to be a problem again. And that might give us some semblance of stealth.
Emma basically suggests that the rest of the team take the elevator down, and that the four of you, Emma, Gardenia, and five more, so 5 total, Dorna, the bugbear woman, and Glenn, the blonde dwarven man, go together.
Yep. Works for N. They can take the elevator down, try to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, and we can take the ladder up.
Yep. Okay.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
I'm getting confused about where's what. Where are you guys?
We're in the dungeon, which is a floor below the engine. So when N fell down, they fell down past about 4 floors, at least 4 floors that were noted.
Yep.
There was a room,
Yeah.
the first room that they passed, I've noted as smoke. Then there's the second room, which iron, bones, dust. These are my notes. That's about where the engine probably was, because that's kind of
Right,
the
yeah.
industrial place. Then we're 3rd floor. That's where we're at right now. That's the dungeon. And then there's the 4th
And then-
floor, which is the pond.
The pond
Yeah.
at the bottom of the ocean,
Yes.
cave cabin with a dock. Yes,
Yes.
that's the one.
That's the one.
Okay. No, cool. Yeah, I was getting confused because for some reason I thought the engine room was down, but no, the storage of the crude oil that needs to be taken to the engine room is down.
Yes, correct.
And so you're trying to say, like, yeah.
Why are the rest of the crew going down?
Basically because it's the furthest away from any incoming skeletons. They're banged
Oh, okay.
up pretty badly.
Safest.
So
Safety. Okay.
Safety, and Blossom, the Warforged medic, doesn't need to breathe, so she could go check out what's
Yeah.
underwater.
You can investigate. There might be an escape route down there for all we know. So, sending someone down to scout is a good idea.
Yeah. And what Emma said, like, no one's going to be back for crude oil for a while because there's no need.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and her thought process that there's hopefully no skeletons there, just like sitting
Yep.
there.
Yep. Emma is a competent leader.
Thank God.
She gives Mags tight hug as the rest of the crew piles into the elevator. And there's a meaningful moment of eye contact between them. Emma says, "Stay safe." Mag says, "You know I will." You too. And the crew heads down. So, it's Emma, Gardenia, a dwarf, a bugbear, and N.
Walk into an engine room, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. N would offer to, like, take points, essentially, on the ladder. Like, hey, this is my plan. I don't mind going first, but also if someone else wants to go first, they will concede to that. Like Gardenia, if Gardenia wants to go first, that might also be good, because one of the reasons we're taking the ladder is to try and get a little lay of the land before we hop up into it, so whoever can, like, possibly get a look around without being immediately spotted should probably be the first on the ladder, which I think would probably be Gardenia and or me, so that is my logic.
Emma's gonna make a little insight check on you, N.
Should I be contesting anything?
No, this was more of a, like, how much can she tell about your physical capabilities?
Small.
Which is small. Small and tricksy.
Small and tricksy.
Yeah, she doesn't know about your noodle arms. You're wearing sleeves. Yeah, Emma says, Gardenia, you take point. N, was it?
That's me.
You said you can communicate with her?
Gardenia? Yep.
Right. We'll let her take point, and once she gives us the all clear, through you, the rest of us will head up.
Okay, sounds good. And we'll, like, move over to the wall, lean against it, and take out their book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gardenia begins to climb. Bad roll, Gardenia. 3.
Back at
She's
it again.
tired.
Gardenia's luck. Poor thing.
It's a 3, but it's like she rolled a 3, but she still gets a 12,
She
so
still
at
gets a
least
12,
there's
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's still above 10.
Yeah.
They don't have eyes. It's fine.
You know, what's the passive perception on a skeleton? Not great. So, you wait for a while. The sound of Gardenia's footsteps receding up into the elevator shaft. There's like the quiet tunk, tunk, tunk. There's a moment of exhaling, and then the dwarven man, whose name is Glenn apparently, says, "So, who are you again?"
Busy and waiting for my Theroni appointment.
Emma says, "It's one of Fenn's crew, new crew."
And shrugs.
I am here because I was encouraged to be here.
By multiple people. Yours and mine.
Guy sort of strokes his beard and goes, "Alright. Fair enough, then." The bugbear woman is just like arms folded, leaned up against the wall. Waiting.
There we go, that's better.
Yes. You have the book open?
Yeah, and it's probably like waiting what feels like a reasonable amount of time before shooting the small message, like report.
You see the written reply from Gardenia. Coast is clear.
And eyebrows kind of raise. No skeletons?
None in the elevator room.
Ah, multiple rooms. And kind of closes the book halfway with their fingers still tucked on the page. Okay, Gardenia says that the elevator room is clear, so we can probably go up.
Emma nods. Right.
All right, let's hop to it. And I'll go over to the ladder and start climbing up.
We cut to the group of you emerging from the elevator shaft. You can hear the sound of machinery louder and louder as you get closer to it.
Well, Ed says in message to Emma, I think we're in the right place.
Tell me about it.
From now on, maybe we should try and communicate like this. Taps at their head.
Bit hard to coordinate a team like that.
Well, then just keep your voice down, and I'll stay silent. So, where's Gardenia near here, this, like, white block up on the north side?
That appears to be a set of double doors. There's also a stairway up.
Okay.
Emma gestures to Glenn and says, see if there's any traps. And Glenn casts Detect Magic. Walks around the room. Oh yeah, there's traps all right. Don't think we should go through that door. Emma asks Gardenia, you been up the staircase? And Gardenia says, there's another door up there, but, And Glenn says, I'm on it. Shuffle over.
And just stays out of the way. Lets him do his thing.
Calls back. Or rather, he comes back down the stairs and says, just an ordinary lock. Gardenia says, excellent. Let me. Goes up and says, it's unlocked.
Well, I was going to give you help lockpicking it, but if it's unlocked.
Yeah.
And, like, shuffles up behind Gardenia quietly, like, ready pretty much to provide backup if we want to go through that door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Emma and Dorna stand at the ready with their swords that they've taken off the skeletons. Gardenia gives a quick listen and then enters.
Can I also do a listen?
Yes.
I'm not just going to rely on Gardenia to do all the checks for me.
Yeah. 7.
All clear in here. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, Gardenia enters the room and says, nothing here but a cat.
Hmm. And squints at it like, is it just a cat?
It looks to be an old, like, tabby tomcat with, like, scars and stuff, but just, like, snoozing. It, like, flicks its ear when it hears you come in. It seems to be sleeping on something like a little unit of machinery that's, like, clearly warm.
It's typical cat behavior.
And speaks from experience.
Like, first thought for N is like, is it a shapeshifter? But I don't.
Do you want to make an investigation check?
N's paranoid. N's on edge. Like, so yeah, I think so. Like, you might have noticed, N is snippy. They're on edge.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. That's a 2.
Looks like a cat. Breeds like a cat.
Got my eye on you.
The more pressing thing is that there seems to be sort of like an industrial control panel.
Control panel, you say?
Yes. And beyond it, through smoky glass, you can hear and see the room beyond.
I love the image of N being like, very strange. This cat must mean something. And to the left, there is the expanse of the industrial era.
Yeah.
Look, I had you assess the immediate threats, and then I look out the window, like, and squint, like, sees the cat, goes over to it, like, squinting really hard. Like, are you a shapeshifter? Are you a spy? What are you? And then slowly looks up at just the camera, like, zooming out to the expanse beyond the window, and they're like,
Yes.
huh.
Yeah, speaking of the expanse behind the window, skeletons labor on giant gears in this cavernous room surrounded by the deafening rhythm of machines. The air is powdery with a dust of wore-down bones, which covers the floor like sand beneath their feet. It stinks of smoke, brine, and crude oil. In the back center wall is a huge dial of arcane design, clearly warded and clearly powerful. Other machines, there are furnaces, generators, capacitor banks, boilers, cooling tanks. It's deafened a little bit by the glass, but there's still that sort of like distant, muffled thumping of machinery.
These skeletons are mining crypto, I knew it.
Oh my god. You're banned from the stream. Shh.
Emma and the other two enter the room.
Yeah, and just kind of leaning with their hands in harmless places on the control panels, staring out through the glass.
As you go to lean on it, there's a little voice that says, "I would not do that if I were you, matey."
And his hands flinch back and look directly at the cat.
"Lest you have 8 more lives to spare," says the cat with a little grin.
Why, hello there. And who might you be?
"I'm a cat."
Oh, but cats have names.
The cat replies, "If you must call me something, suppose you can call me Old Mog."
Old Mog.
Emma in the background is like, "Great, a talking cat."
And waves at Emma like, shush, shush. And like, now all like cozying up to the cat. You been here a while?
"Oh, please, I am master of this domain.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
There's no place I can go, no place on this island that does not let me pass."
So, what about the 3 mortal servants in this place? They treat you well?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Nice,
18.
nice.
"Oh, the elf woman is nice enough. She feeds me well. The other 2 don't much care for them."
Yeah, they don't really sound like cat people. They ever mess up your plans or try to get rid of you?
Old Mog sniffs and says, "You're a weaselly little one, aren't you?"
I suppose it takes one to know one, doesn't it?
Emma's like, "Are we really talking to a cat?"
And waves at
Right
Emma
now.
again, like, shut.
Emma goes, "No! Who put you in charge?"
Do you want more intel or not?
"It's a cat."
Yeah, so it's seen a lot of shit.
Emma goes, "Oi, cat. Do you know how this stuff works?" The cat says, "No. Why should I care?"
Well, that's not what I was going to ask it, but thank you for your input.
like has a headache and is like, okay, whatever. You go talk to the cat.
You go disarm the door then, if you have another idea.
Emma scoots you over so you can talk to the cat, and she waves Glenn over and says, "What can you tell me about the machines?" So Flint is gonna do an investigation check. It's gonna take him a while to figure stuff out. Emma is going to do a perception check on what she can tell of the machines. It's smoky. The glass really needs a wipe.
What about the skeletons? They give you any trouble? And still talking to the cat.
Oh, the bony ones. No, they mostly ignore me.
Well, that's lucky.
I don't much care for them either. They don't feed me, and they don't have anything interesting to say.
No, they're not very
And rubbing up on bony legs is not that comfortable.
No. I would imagine so. Do you ever get their attention just by being you?
If I cause mischief.
Are you feeling mischievous today?
I was rather enjoying my nap before you showed up.
Oh, I'm afraid we probably would have disrupted your nap regardless of if we came in here or not.
Old Mog tuts.
It's been one of those days.
You seem like a reasonable lot. I wouldn't mess with any of these devices if I were you, unless you want the Castellan to come running.
I tend to be pretty sensitive about their machines, huh? Anyone tried to bust these things before?
Oh. No, nothing like that, but whenever there's a break, there's always a big fuss.
What tends to break?
Why should I care about that? All I know is that it makes an awful din.
How long does it usually take for them to repair it before you can, get your naps in again?
A few nights.
Oof. Exhausting.
There's other places around the castle that I can choose to nap. I don't really know. But usually a few nights after a fuss, it'll be back to normal again. Though I will say... No, I won't say.
Oh?
If you'll excuse me. Old Mog hops down and starts weaving his way as if to leave.
What? You don't want me to catch you any fish later to make this worth your while?
Make a persuasion check.
Looking at my sheet, I have nothing that appeals to a cat on it right now.
No?
17.
Fish, you say?
Yeah? And there's nothing but water all around. I got time on my hands.
How many fish?
I mean, we got nets. As many as we can pick up in a net.
How big is the net?
And, thinks about the nets on the size, on the, ephemeral chaos. Because that seems like a standard fishing net. That would be carried around. It's like, the Storm Chaser probably has something like that. I can just say that we have that. And I'll, try and shape out the general circumference of the net with their hands on the floor.
Make a deception check, because you don't actually know.
Yes. Fair. $12.
What? The cat rolled a natural 20. I was like,
Ugh.
on your 12 deception check, and then goes, somehow I don't think you've ever caught a fish in your life.
Well, not on this ship. See, I'm a guest aboard this particular ship, but I have been sailing for quite a while. But hey, if you don't want free food, just for a little bit of company, I'm not gonna beg you.
Old Mog snorts and says, all food is free.
I mean, without effort.
He gives you a flat look again, like, yeah, and I'm a cat. You think I've had to work a day in my life for food when I didn't want to? I'm afraid your attempt at bribery has failed. And the cat says, you have nothing to offer me.
Try to not cause too much of a ruckus for you.
The cat starts to scoot away, and then the bosun tries to, like, nab it, misses, and the cat skitters away.
Yeah, best not to try and contain those things. They'll get away from you eventually.
Lousy feline. It knew something.
Yeah, maybe if I had more time to work with it. But since talking to the cat was a waste of time, I guess we're just gonna have to do it ourselves.
She sneers at you.
And is ignoring that and looking back out the window.
Yeah. Emma is like, there's too many of the things to count. Glenn says, oh, this is beyond me. All I can tell is that if we try and touch anything without a right key or something, the alarm's gonna go off. Emma goes, yeah, that sounds about right.
There's one more room upstairs. I'm not really sure what's in there, but we could have a look. Or at least Gardenia and I could go up there if you guys want to stick here and keep a watch. And glances at Gardenia.
Gardenia is sort of looking to see what she can figure out. This is also beyond her. Emma says, I'd rather you stay put. Gardenia, can you check out what's up the stairs? And Gardenia goes, yep, sure.
What?
And we'll head out.
Buddy system not really your speed?
I trust her a lot more than you, and you can apparently talk to her.
Yeah, if she's conscious and not fighting.
Gardenia gives you, like, a tap on the shoulder as she passes by.
And leans against the wall. Assuming that was a stay put tap.
Yeah, it was a settle. Another.
Back at it again with the rolling 12s.
3, magic number for you.
Emma says, can you make any sense of all of this?
And
She
peers
gestures out the window at the spell engine stuff.
Yeah, one moment, let me think about it. Anne's gonna turn the page to the sending page. Willow?
So true. I forgot. Oh my gosh. I am midway through probably repairs of the strut with May May. Willow gets a little shock from you. N?
Hey, so we've made it to the engine room, but we ran into a little problem, and that problem is that none of us are engineers. And it's going to basically proceed to describe everything they can see. So pretty much what Zeke described earlier about it.
Yeah. Willow says, what appears to be the problem?
Oh, it's running, for one thing. So, from what I can understand from my intel gathering, this thing is rigged up to hell and back with alarms. So, if we touch anything or break anything, it's probably going to alert the rest of the fortress. So if there's any way to shut that down, that would be helpful. Though, if we do break the engine, all the skeletons deactivating will probably work as its own alarm. So the quickest way to shut it down would be ideal.
Yeah. And I would like you to give me an intelligence check to see how much of the information you can accurately convey to Willow.
Okay.
Because this is a lot of stuff.
God, it's a 3.
That's a 3.
No, that's fair though, because I feel like this is not only it looked to be like, how are you meant to articulate this? It's like explaining a PC build when you don't know what a PC is.
Yeah, lots of skeletons in the center, the cooling tanks.
You like, yeah. So it's like N saying, okay, so there's some big wheels that are spinning very fast, attached to some metal stuff. There's a big glowy thing in the back. There's some more, tall glowy things.
Assuming that N's so N is conveying this to me in what kind of tone? Rom?
Written.
Do you not have a tone when I hear it?
Probably the general tone is doing their best and tense.
Yeah, I think Willow's... And is it reasonable... You said that the skeletons power down when this engine powers down.
That's what Luca has led me to believe.
Okay. Let me think a sec. Willow has received this information. They are doing the That's So Raven pause while Meme is, I don't know, doing backflips on this truck. I think, sorry, just passing this from my direction, it's not overly helpful to get stuck into the nitty gritty of like what the engine looks like anyway. Because...
Yeah, Willow can ask clarifying questions as well.
Yeah, but I also just feel like there's the larger question, which is the fact that disabling this is going to set off an alarm. And so Willow's first question is going to be, where's Luca?
Last I checked, Luca was in the servants' quarters, though I think he's been moved since then.
So your goal is to disable the engine with minimal detection.
That would be the ideal, yes.
Perhaps less disable, more injure.
According to my intel, if we break it right, it might take them a couple days to repair, so I suppose we don't have to completely destroy it. Assuming my friend was correct.
Friend?
I was talking to a cat.
What?
Don't worry about it.
little font. Okay. No, bigger font. There was a cat speaking to you?
Yes.
Actual cat, not shifter.
Yes.
Can I roll a quick Arcana check to know what that is?
Yeah. In the background, we can see Emma, Glenn, and Dorna all poring over the control panel. Talking animals are not that strange. You did meet a shopkeep that was a talking giant owl.
Yeah, and has also
yes.
met talking animals in Charn, so this isn't weird to them.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not odd.
It is odd that there was a cat that talks in the engine room. Yeah, I'm just like, why is there a talking cat here? That seems oddly whimsical.
Okay. Okay, let's not get hung up on. Willow would. So my Arcana 21 is just to be like, oh wait, that's normal. I guess
it's more like
normal.
it's like that's a weird place for a pet to be. Okay,
Are they pets? When they talk?
sometimes they
Still?
pets. Sometimes yeah.
Okay.
They're basically animals that have been magically granted the gift of speech. So it's still like an animal.
Yes, okay.
It's just
So that's
an
why
animal that can speak English.
That's why it is like that. Okay, Willow will
Yes.
say,
Like Meowth.
yes, that's right. Willow will say back to N, did the cat have any intel about the spell engine?
So that's where I learned about it probably being set up with a lot of alarms. I couldn't convince the cat to give me too much more information beyond that. The alarms and the fact that it seems to take them 2 days to repair when certain things are broken, but the cat was unaware of what things broke to cause that long-term repair job.
Okay, so just a netta. The difference between destroying the engine and inhibiting the engine, that's a key difference, right?
Yes.
We don't necessarily know how to injure it though.
Unclear what the best way to injure it is. N certainly hasn't spent enough time here to like figure out how it works.
My instinct, my limited knowledge, would be to break the cooling tanks.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts overheating.
Yes.
Yeah, Willow might then ask.
And probably says that to Willow while they're, like, talking.
I think Willow would think that that's fair to do. Hey, Zeke, would there be any... If I asked, like, if we treat this like you're calling tech support, yeah?
Yeah, which it is.
And I ask N, yeah, like... Okay, I'm gonna ask N, could you please get a closer look at the panel for me?
Can do. And they were against the, not that far, they were against the wall. They, like, push off and look at the panel and start, like, trying to describe what they're seeing.
Willow would then, because I feel like it's not labeled like cooling liquid, it's going to have like a visual indicator that engineers would probably be able to identify of like this controls that. Can we figure out how to, like, Willow tries to guide N to it? I don't know if it's a combination like me explaining it versus N receiving that knowledge.
Yeah, I think there's like a lot of complications. And I will say you can overhear Emma and Flint and Dorna talking as they are like sussing this out. So.
And I do remember the cat saying not to touch it.
You hear Emma, Glenn, and Dorna in the background discussing what they're puzzling together. This has taken them like a few minutes, and Glenn's going, so that over there looks like furnaces, which I think is controlled by these, or like is monitored by these parts. I think there's also local... Yeah, you can see just past there, there's the local controls. There's that big gear in the middle that's got all the skeletons walking around it. The thing in the back is probably the main spell conduit that's transferring all the power. Yeah, it looks like it's the things on the back port over there. Looks like that's storing extra energy or keeping things running. And then the skeletons can't see very well.
This thing rigged to blow an alarm if we touch it, can you tell?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if we try and touch any of these dials, Pretty sure that we're gonna get a nasty surprise on top of alerting everybody. Emma says, is there anything about... all that stuff has to generate a lot of heat. Is there... Emma gestures, is there anything that we can, like, poke a hole in or cause a leak or something like that? Glenn says, says there's something with cooling tank
Yeah,
here somewhere.
that would be my idea. If we can break those tanks or get them to leak, that would probably cause the thing to overheat, right?
Yeah. Emma says, I can't see them well. I think they might be in the corner, the blind spot back there. We should figure a way that we can get past the trap at the front door.
Yeah, if you can get that trap done, I can go in.
Go in?
We want to go in, right?
Go in and do what?
To make a hole in the cooling tanks. I can do it at a distance, probably.
Can you do it quietly?
Well, no, but if push comes to shove, yes. I'll try to do it quietly first. But I have my methods if things get sticky. And it's better if only one or two people go in rather than sending the whole team. Especially if you're trying to be stealthy. And I'm willing to take the risk.
Can you make a persuasion check, please?
Yay, 10.
10. Emma turns on you and says, look, you've been real helpful so far, but I don't know you, and I don't have a lot of reason to trust you.
Why would I risk my ass coming down into the dungeons, breaking you all free? I could have just left you to rot. What do I care? I was left on the ship. I was in a prime position to run away on my own. Why would I come and rescue you if I didn't give a shit?
Because you're just as stuck here as the rest of us. I don't think you could get here out on your own.
I could have just waited on the ship until the cavalry arrived. I'm in contact with Fender. I didn't have to come in here. I didn't have to do shit for you. I should be saving my friend, not you. And yet here I am.
Emma squints, and there's like a tense stare off. We heard from Gardenia?
And flips open their book and writes report to Gardenia without looking away from Emma. At least we're in this together, Gardenia. You and me, maybe. It's a 10. Gardenia?
Gardenia says back, just looks like a boiler room. There's nowhere near as much stuff as there is down there. I'm coming back.
Got it, thanks. Closes the book. Apparently it's a boiler room up above. Probably not terribly useful to us right now.
Who were you writing to earlier? Were you just making notes?
I was talking with Fender, who is currently on the Kraken Slayer, as I said, with Colton. They're en route here. It's going to take them about 12 hours.
Right. So, I think we've established how we feel about each other. You're magic-y. What do you think that shit is? She gestures to the big spell conduit thing in the background.
Can I do an Arcana check of my own at all to see if I can glean anything if I'm looking directly at it?
Yes, please
Alright.
do.
Let's see.
Hmm.
Alright, 19.
19. Okay. Let me describe. So. You can see there is this sort of large circular dial panel thing that is connected to like what looks like a mill or something. There's skeletons walking around constantly in a circle around this big capstan, like just walking, and you can see like the subtle flicker of runes being activated as they step over them. On a 19 Arcana, you can tell that this is the most central part of the machine. This is the thing that's the actual output. It is heavily warded by magic. You can see sort of the flicker of arcane shielding.
And the only way to really dispel that is with a dispel spell.
I mean, that or attacking it.
Mm.
Like physical damage will do damage. That is by far like one of the more difficult things to disrupt, but it is like the thing that will turn everything off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On a 19 Arcana check, you also get a little bit extra from the eye.
Oh, hello.
It's been a minute.
Yes. This is like information that you have no reason to know, but you are gaining it from somewhere with that deep connection with your patron. That says the reason why it's a dial is because the spell refreshes every night at midnight.
God, if only I knew how to read the sun's position in the sky.
It's when. And subarctic, I think.
So, at midnight, any skeletons that were defeated that aren't completely destroyed will come back.
I see. Okay, then even less reason for us to stand around here for 12 hours and wait. Well, good news and bad news. And
Yeah?
points out the shielded area with the, what is it called? The
Spell conduit.
spell conduit.
Yeah.
Uh.
Yeah.
We can break through that and break it. That might shut the whole thing down. Bad news is, if we wait until midnight, everything we've already destroyed, every skeleton we've already taken down, and clicks their fingers and jabs their thumb upwards. Back up on their feet.
Well, that's more information than we had earlier. Okay, so we do have a deadline. Right.
We could cause some sort of distraction. I could get back there, or someone could get back there.
I think your earlier idea of fucking up with the cooling tank might be better.
Yeah, it's probably more low-key. I have at least a chance of getting in there, breaking a hole in one of the tanks, or... There's more than one, right? Tank?
Yes, but you haven't been able to see them.
Yeah.
Because the angle that they're at. They're in this corner over here, so you can only just, like, see the outline of where they would be.
I can break a hole in one of those. This is all assuming that we can do this without an alarm immediately going off. But if we could get a hole in one of those, then that would be a slow breakdown. We could get the engine to start overheating and be out of here before anything actually goes wrong.
Yeah, that's probably our best bet. She turns to the dwarven man, Glenn Lockwood, and says, "What was the exact nature of the trap around the door?" Lockwood says, "We walk through it, it activates."
Just walk through it?
Walk through it.
Actually, we might not need the door at all. Squints through the window. You do some measurements for me.
Ooh. I see.
Okay, cooling tanks is...
In this far corner here.
Oh, just over there?
Yeah.
Damn,
Against the wall that you're on.
yeah. Okay. So, remind me, door opens and it goes off, or just if something goes through?
If somebody, Lockwood explains it as like there's basically a magic tripwire. If you cross through there, like if you physically pass the threshold, without a specific key, it'll probably trigger an alarm.
But we can open the door without triggering the alarm.
Yes, opening the door itself is not the problem. It's getting into the room.
Cool. I think I can do that.
Gardenia is on her way back.
Okay, Gardenia. And, like, pops down the stairs. We got a thought. I'm gonna run it by you. We're thinking we're gonna try and take out the cooling tanks, at least start them leaking, to, at least begin the process of overheating the engine. Then get out of here before the actual damage is done. My plan is to go in there, do that, come back out. I have a means to do that without tripping any wires, without going through any doors.
Sounds like a solid plan. By the way, got you something.
Huh?
She hands you a wrench.
Huh. And, like, tosses it between their two hands and tests the weight. Yeah, that might help.
Figured it might be useful to have some appropriate tools.
I was just gonna stab it until it broke. It tends to be my usual modus operandi. But before I got magic.
That's recent for you?
I'll tell you over drink sometime. Let's get out of this alive first.
I think Emma says, okay. I think our best bet is probably going to be not being here when things go shitty.
Yeah, if things go shit, figure my own shit out. Unless any of you want to stick around into my backup, but considering I'm part of Fender's crew, I don't know.
There's an exchange of glances between Glenn Lockwood and Dorna, the dwarf, and the bugbear.
I mean, I did give you knives and food, and I broke you out. And yeah, I want to get you out alive, but if anyone would like to stay close, be appreciated.
Emma does a big sigh and says, we'll stay here till you get out.
You can go into the boiler room. If I have a problem, you're gonna hear about it.
I think I'd rather reunite with my crew, and I don't fancy climbing more of that ladder than I have to.
There's a bit of a slog. Yeah, do whatever you want. But I am an asset to you. Try not to forget that.
Feelings mutual.
Sure is. And we'll, like, crack open the door here to get a view.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say an angle. Yeah, there's good. Right.
Gardenia goes on one side of the door, Glenn Lockwood on the other, crossbow at the ready. Emma and Dorna as backup.
Alright. If shit goes real bad, just get out of here. And Ed will disappear in a flash of fire and ash.
Nice. Misty Step.
Yeah, Misty Steps 30 feet, so through the crack. So about,
Yep.
where's a good place? I'm just looking at the skeletons on the far side there. Okay, so
Yep.
this is fine.
Nice. Make a stealth check.
Okay.
I will reveal the rest of the room. And you can see it. 19.
19, okay.
Very nice.
First, didn't stack it on the first step.
Yay.
Yay. Alright. Now you can see the boiler room.
Oh, that's a
The,
lot of
the
tanks.
cooling tanks. Yes. So, let me describe those. They're like big, big ass tanks. You can move closer to them if you like. They stretch up into the ceiling, and you can see these sort of like conduit pipes of like what must be seawater being pulled and pumped through.
Okay.
There's like rust and the smell of brine, and now that you're actually in the room, now that you've actually like passed the threshold where you're no longer protected by the doors, the noise is deafening.
Huh.
Grinding gears, clattering chain, hissing pistons, whirring and clanking and thudding of heavy iron machinery moving with tremendous force. It echoes and rebounds off the cavernous stone walls to join the cacophony. Skeletons labor like ants at every part of this great machine. The air is powdery with their remains. It's so loud that you feel like you could, as long as you're not seen,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't have to worry about noise.
Fantastic. All right. Well, looking at these tanks, is there any like weak point I can detect just by kind of looking at them?
Give me either a perception or an investigation check.
The perception, because I'm mildly better at that.
Nice.
12.
There are some, like, the most obvious weak point to you is the pipes themselves that are bringing in water.
Yeah.
So, like, at the top there.
Yeah, that was my first thought as well.
You can see there's, like, rusted on bolts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
These how climbable are these tanks, and how tall are they? Like up to the ceiling, and how far is the ceiling? Did you say?
not up to the ceiling, but they are, I want to say, like 30 feet tall.
Okay. Definitely taller than me.
Yes, and I want to say the like ceiling is like 60 feet tall in total. Like you climbed a significant, yeah, like 30 feet of stairs up, and you were at around the halfway point up the wall for the observation room here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big ass room.
Okay. And these tanks, there's no easy way to get to the pipes at the top, is there?
Uh,
A ladder, a maintenance ladder, or
Not-
anything?
there is probably a maintenance ladder, yeah.
Does it go to a place or like go high enough that I could then catwalk my way to the
Yes.
pipes?
I would ask you probably for an acrobatics check to
Yeah,
keep
it's
your
the
balance.
problems are still arise. I don't want to fall and break my neck.
Everything.
Yeah. If I could like conceivably just shoot them without getting caught.
Yeah. You may be able to get to a point where you could angle yourself so that you're like quite hidden from view. There seems to be a little blind spot back here.
Yeah, we might start with that. Sneak on around here. Just like peeks around a little bit, and we'll try to line up an Elder's Blast with like the weak parts of the pipe, the rusty parts.
Okay. Roll to attack.
Let's see. Woof. 10.
Ugh. You hit it, but like the metal just like pings the blast off harmlessly.
Well, I'll try again since I usually have 2 and 1 anyway. 17.
Ooh. Almost.
Okay.
You make a little dent in the pipe. Like it's pinged, like you've done a little compression dent, but no greater damage than that.
It's gonna take forever. And grumbles. Well, you know what? Actually, falling isn't a problem. I have feather fall armor. Let's climb up there.
Yeah. Cool. This is true.
You can glide onto your spine.
Yeah. I'll gently fall upon my spine.
Yeah.
Oh, climb up on the maintenance ladder and try to get to the pipes that way.
Yeah, give me an acrobatics check.
Okay. Historically, my best. Yep. Exactly what I think happens.
What would you say happens on a nat 1 acrobatics check?
Is there somewhere I can get wedged?
Yeah. I think you're wedged, like, right here.
So, like, I don't take damage because of the armor, but...
But you are stuck.
Thank
In a
God these tanks are
real-
tucked away from the window. I could not deal with his indignity right now with my current state with the crew.
I'm an asset to you. Don't forget that. Immediately gets wedged in a small space. Oh shit! Oh,
Don't
damn
worry.
It.
This is just like being home.
Yep.
Can I see a pipe from here?
Oh yeah, it's right above you.
I blasted.
Okay.
Mostly out of aggression and irritation than actual. 13.
Again, the metal is too robust.
Hey, is there anything in this wedge section that, like, since I'm here, where people are not supposed to be, is there anything here?
Give me a perception check. Do you want to give me your second Eldritch Blast as well?
Sure. I'm angry enough. And it's like, this day fucking sucks.
There you go.
30-20. Yes. I'm so mad.
You
I can't talk to you. I can't talk down the crew. I'm stuck between two giant water barrels
that are
made of glass.
and they're like,
what do they call it? I don't fucking care. Shoot some. So a little tantrum. You see, like, in the foreground, this skeleton walking by, and there's like these flashes from between the cooling.
Can I just say, the song that we amped up for today's session, starting with, it's just one of those days. Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks.
Honestly, it's really living up to that vibe. Yes.
It just wants to break shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Honestly,
man.
En's been so on edge since we got here.
Poor Tommy. Oh,
Okay, so do I get water in my face now because I just broke a pipe?
No, unfortunately not. You hit its armor class, but you didn't hit its damage threshold.
Okay, but I see I made like some significant damage.
You've made a dent. You're gradually weakening that one joint in the pipe. Give me a perception check to see if you can find any bolts that you can loosen.
I want you to know I'm just imagining En on their back with like one leg up and like an arm out, stuck between something. It's not graceful.
I was full. Have you ever seen that one picture of the mouse that's like wedged between the wall and a fridge?
Yes. That's a bit the vibe, yes. It's a 7.
Oh man.
You're pissed and uncomfortable, and like you realize now that you're like in contact with the tanks. They're fucking cold.
Oh no.
It's fine. I'm fine. I'm cool. I'm a cool guy. I'm gonna try and unwedge myself.
Yeah. Acrobatics check, please. There you go.
30-20.
You are small and wiggly enough that you are able to walk into the gap that's like between the two things. It's gonna be a hell of a time to get out of this situation, but at least now you're not stuck.
Yeah, they're just standing here in between all the tanks with their hands on their hips like, Well, there's no way I can get back to the ladder right now.
No.
I'm just down here.
Do you have any rope on you?
I was looking at that. No, I believe I left it on on the ephemeral chaos.
Oops.
I'm just having a quick look. I have some other things that might come in.
Rations and knives.
I have an antidote. Fuck you.
I mean, this would also be the ideal place to do the damage because it's hard to get
Yeah.
to.
There is
Yeah.
that.
So true. You do have horrible
Shoulder
powers.
Luca.
Yeah, no,
Giving
like
you
my
advice.
next plan
Shoulder Luca.
for my next trick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think Lagan's like, well, fuck it. I'm just gonna start blasting it until something
Yeah.
breaks. Pretty much.
Go ahead.
Guess I'll aim at the one I made a dent on.
Nice.
21.
That hits the armor class. You're like denting it a little bit, but not overcoming the damage threshold. It is sturdy metal. No go.
11.
How many blasts? And I hate to invoke this, but how many blasts until N needs to roll, like, or rather the skeletons need to roll?
I mean, I don't imagine Eldritch Blast is very loud.
Okay, so it's only if you start using, like, other spells that it's going to become a problem.
Yeah. I'll make a perception check for any of the skeletons to notice this. No. Natural 0. You're good. Keep going.
Listen,
Oh,
I
that's
roll
so
nat
funny.
ones, but so did they, so it's an even playing field.
How can you perceive anything?
There's so much noise,
this
and you
room.
don't have eyes.
They don't have eyes or,
Or ears.
ears.
Only bones.
Only bones.
No bones
What
about
does
it.
Eldritch Blast smell like? Because they don't have a nose either.
18 enough.
Could be.
No.
No.
You want a roll of.
Wait, how
What does a
that
nat?
go?
Yeah. Does it
Sorry.
ricochet past your ear?
I think usually I flavor Nat 1 Eldritch Blast as a bit of a blowback, as it kind of like hurts.
Yeah.
So that might stop any of
Yeah.
their tracks because it hurts them. They've
Yeah.
they've overextended themselves.
got-
Like recoil and shake off
You-
their hands like they got burned.
Yeah, it's the like like you snap yourself with an elastic band kind of pain.
Yeah.
Like It doesn't like linger or deal any damage, but it is like a uncomfortable sensation.
Shooting it again. Sorry.
And the willow in the back of your mind, who you left on red, by the way. Is that-
29.
Maybe try a different. Maybe try.
23.
Maybe
23
never
for
mind.
9 damage.
Okay, sure.
That's how I feel.
I want to say that you've been hitting the same sort of spot over and over again. That now, when you blast it this final time, you feel a little tiny drip of water.
I feel better. Okay. Try to get back up there. It's gonna take too long. So, N's going to look for a way to get out from between the tanks.
Okay. Acrobatics or athletics check.
It's not gonna be athletics.
Yeah, acrobatics have been treating you so well.
That's an 8.
It's better than a 1.
Yeah, it's you're struggling to get out.
Let's see.
This sucks. This is scary, by the way.
It's fine. I'm from Sharn, so this really isn't too bad for me.
Okay, it's sentimental then. Never mind.
Yeah. It's just like being home.
Also scary. You live in New York.
Fine. There's nothing here in the back that I can use this wrench on.
You haven't looked around.
I only looked around when I'm on my back and wedged in a corner, so I'll try again, I guess.
Perception check with advantage. Fuck it, you've been here long enough.
I've
you
been
should
here a
be able
while.
to
I've
spot
seen
some
all
holes.
these walls.
Well, yeah, you can see some bolts that you could definitely loosen.
Well, nobody's supposed to be here, so maybe they're sensitive. I'll start working on them. Might as well.
Give me an athletics check with advantage because you are using a wrench.
Yay. I have a tool.
Yes.
Nat
Finally.
20.
Nat
Yes.
20.
Thank you, Gardenia.
So, you like take a deep breath, take your time, and start going to work. And you like, instead of going for just one bolt, you start loosening multiple of them. And so, like, by their combined pressure, you can see like now the water pressure is starting to get worse, and there's like a small puddle forming rapidly.
Right.
So
Puddle's good.
that is. So there is a significant leak.
On just one of the tanks, or
I think you two.
okay.
I will mark them. These little blue squares.
So, if I can't get out, is there a chance I can move up to the other, like, 2 northern tanks? Can I, like, squeeze through there, even
Yes.
if getting out is
Yeah.
difficult? I might try to find the
Yes.
same, like, weaknesses on these tanks and try again.
Yep. Athletics check again with advantage.
Oops, that was 1. Let's
Oops.
try again. I'll just roll again.
Hey,
17.
yeah, there you go. Yeah. Now that you've done it once, you've got a method down, so you're doing sabotage.
Well, it would be so
Industrial
fun.
sabotage.
Yeah. My ears are burning.
Give me another acrobatics check. You might be able to squeeze out. on
Let's
this
see.
side.
10.
It takes you a while, and you're like really, really wheeling. You're like halfway through. You feel like, if you were just a little bit smaller, maybe.
Well, I can do that. But I enjoy being that small, but desperate times, and will change their form into halfling size.
Your clothes immediately are oversized on you.
That's fine, and I'm just gonna like hike and just fold up my sleeves.
Roll up your pants.
Just turn it, you know, like when you have a
Fold-
dress and you like
yeah.
turn it into shorts. Just do that.
Yeah.
Just temporary. No one can see me. Just squeeze
Yeah.
through here.
Okay, give me an acrobatics check with advantage.
Day is the worst.
Yeah.
7.
But you dodged it at 1.
I think on a 7, one of your like a piece of clothing gets snagged on something.
Of course.
Gonna
And
No.
looks at the
Check.
snag accusatorily.
Nope.
Oh,
Can you roll a stealth check, please?
Okay,
Roll better than a 6.
don't call me out.
ooh.
The 24.
You are very hidden, at least.
Yeah,
Even
it's
if you
part of the
are
problem,
also
but also the
stuck.
solution. And gives an accusatory look to the caught like clothing, and then like grabs it and like carefully tries to extract it because they don't want to damage the armor.
Sleight of hand check, please.
Oh, whew.
19.
Success. You are free. You can make a little more progress. I think at this point you're like here or here, depending on which way around you want to. Yeah, okay, that way.
The Thale within was like, oh, thank goodness. But you're not ripping your armor.
I was so close to yanking it, like in my brain, I was like, Yen's gonna pull it, and so angry. No. Then the inner thing, okay, but like, no.
No.
Don't
You just got
damage the
this. This
armor.
is new.
You just got it. It's
This is
new.
new.
It is saving
The
your life.
stitching.
Do not damage it. Please listen to me for
Small
once in your
armor.
life. I'm trying to help you.
And like twisted around in the guts of the cooling system, like, oh yeah, where's your help now? Sheesh.
Are you going to jazz hands me out of this one?
Next time I see you, I'm breaking your legs for real.
Whoa!
Those our legs.
Legs! No!
Anyway, one more acrobatics check with advantage, please.
Let me out.
Okay.
Success.
15.
Oh, thank goodness.
You promptly you escape the pits.
Yeah.
Because I do think these are also sunken a little bit into the floor
Yeah.
to like connect with other piping. There was like a lot of piping underneath that's like flowing under the
Yeah.
whole system here. So it was a real tripping hazard.
We see like N's head like bobbing up on the little like edge of the like dip from the like upper part of the forest, the dip where the tanks are,
Yeah.
and then N just extends back to normal length, and they're a bit above
Yeah.
that dip
Yeah.
there, and just climbs out. Like they don't
Yeah,
stand
their
up; they
clothes-
just extend, re-accommodate their clothing, and then climb out
Yeah. Yeah.
like an extending ladder. Zoop.
Yeah. Telescopes your legs.
Yeah.
Ah.
Neat. Well, that was way more complicated than I wanted it to be. But you know what?
Yeah.
Is there anything else
Now
I
the
can
question-
see while I'm in here? Because I am in here, and no
Yeah.
one's noticed me.
Yes. Yes. There's a lot here. So there's these big generators that have like these wheels are spinning quite fast. And there's like pistons and stuff turning. There's like wires that are snaking between things. There's these big like Tesla coil electrical capacitator things. And then there's like these big furnaces at the back here. Also reveal the little catwalk.
Hmm. And do I see those tanks? They're not tanks, but like the barrels of oil anywhere?
No.
Ah, they move them fast. But I guess they do have 2 million skeletons turning that thing up there, so...
Yeah, there's like there's a lot of skeletons in here. Give me a perception check.
Eight.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't see any other easy targets at this point. But you know that you've caused some significant damage of like weakening the cooling system.
Are there any other just bolts around? That suit my wrench.
You know what? There's bolts fastening these big generators to the floor.
Can I get close to them?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Well, I'm here, and I like toddle on over and just loosen them. Not take them off entirely, but this thing is oscillating. Let's
Mm-hmm.
loosen them.
Let's make it rattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make the noise worse.
And maybe they'll just break on their own.
Yeah. I think in this case, give me a sleight of hand check.
Straight
With
or
advantage. With advantage because you're using a tool. The tool is basically allowing you to do this.
all right.
Nice.
Dirty
Ooh.
20.
Hell yeah.
So this one is also dangerous, let's say.
Basically, it's the thought process is like when they realize something's wrong and they start to repair it, I want to make little issues that they don't know about that aren't obvious that
Yeah.
might then cause more problems.
Yes. I'd like you to make a dexterity saving throw to safely navigate past this wheel now that you've loosened it.
Okay.
Ooh.
9.
Ooh.
That's scary. This is an inherently unsafe place.
Yes. I would obviously try to go around the danger, not just beeline for the door through hazards.
Yeah. I will say I don't think you're doing anything like that seems unsafe. but this place is dangerous inherently. And it is an unfamiliar space, and you are not familiar with the pitfalls of it.
Yes.
So I think what happens is, you haven't really been paying a whole lot of attention to the floor, but there are like bits of bone chip on the floor.
Don't even clean up after themselves.
Yeah. And as you are walking, you step on a piece that rolls under your feet, and you slide towards it. Give me another dexterity saving throw.
Oh my god.
It's okay. It's fine. Oh! 22.
22.
Oh
You like just before like you slip and you feel your as you like try and catch yourself, you feel your foot go like dip into this like indent where the wheel is spinning, and you very, very quickly pull your leg in before it can catch on anything, but you like feel the like rush of air as like you nearly got your foot caught in like what is essentially like an industrial flywheel.
Yeah, and like eyebrows raised in slight alarm, and takes a step back. Gives it the finger. We'll move away from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope you break.
Okay, make a stealth check, please.
God.
18.
Okay. Cool. Okay. You are able to safely approach the door.
I assume the alarm is still... Nobody's done anything about it.
No, it's still intact. There's not really been a way to deal with it.
Yep. So...
I can roll to check if they can do anything about it, but...
It's fine. Mainly what I need them to do... Oh, well, let me know.
I think what they've done is basically, Dorna has pulled a spike of metal out of, like pulled basically a bit of rebar from the elevator shaft, and wedged it into the like wall using the sword as like a hammer,
Thrifty.
essentially. And there's a rope tied to it, so with enough tension you could like hop onto the rope and basically hop over. It would be an acrobatics check.
Yeah, that's what the problems arise.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, today, my acrobatics checks haven't been stellar. Do we have any idea what happens if the alarm is tripped? This big sound, everyone come, see?
I assume big sound, all skeletons in this room aggro on you.
It's a lot of skeletons.
Yeah.
Oh, and we'll just Misty step in.
Gardenia, like, gives you a nod. It's done?
Most of the tanks are leaking. So, good question, and opens their book. Willow,
Where have you been?
I've been sabotaging the engine room.
Oh.
Oh, okay. There were... Just saw them. There were 6 tanks for cooling. I have caused at least 4 of them to spring significant leaks. Any estimate on how long we have before the engine starts overheating?
What do I roll, Zeke?
This would be an intelligence check.
17 at disadvantage.
Hey, still pretty good. You would say probably a couple hours, depending on the extent of the engine.
Willow reports that back to N. Couple hours. You successfully did that. Congratulations.
Thanks. Wasn't easy. Really feeling your absence. But no one got hurt.
Over in the distance, I imagine, like when the camera finally comes back to Willow, who's been left on hold for my side has been, hey, we're looking at this control panel, and then silence. I'm sitting there going, oh god, N's dead. You know? You touch the control panel, everything exploded, you're getting mauled by skeletons as we speak. Awesome, 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 awesome. So imagine May in the background's like, hello. What are we doing about the strut? Well, Willow's got that like maddened kind of frazzled look about them. Anyway, but I'm back. And all good. You asked me... Oh no, I was gonna ask you a question that's been on my mind the whole time. You said we, I think. Something like that. Not we,
Yeah.
but... Willow's gonna quickly ask, who's with you?
Gardenia, Emma, couple others. Dorna and Glenn, I think.
Willow squints a bit. Do I know those names? They sound... One of them sounds familiar.
Adorna is familiar to you.
Dorna sounds familiar.
I don't think you know Glenn Lockwood.
The rest of the crew has gone down to the pond, the bottom of the ocean, because it seems like the safest place right now.
Okay.
Yes, the text says haha.
That's cute. Willow kind of tensely asks, well, you can't see this because it's text, but is the crew treating you alright?
They don't exactly trust me 100%, but that's to be expected. I've not exactly been at my best behavior either.
It's a very... comes through slowly. It's a very poor situation you've been dragged into.
Yeah, we all have reasons to be a bit on edge. I don't blame them for their attitude. I just need to get shit done.
Sounds good. Congratulations again. Please keep me posted. Best you can.
I have some great stories to tell you when this is over, so you better hurry up.
Flying as fast as we can.
Counting on ya. Okay, and closes their book. So we probably have about a couple hours before the engine overheats. Might be good to lay low. I'll stay in contact with my man on the inside. That might give us some more ideas of what's happening and how to maneuver from here.
Emma nods. I think it's best if we all head down and regroup. See what the others have found.
Fine by me. I need to sit for a second.
And we'll cut away here.
Nice.
Let's cut over to Luca.
Me.
La hookah.
La hookah. That could be my next
Hookah.
code name.
Do, 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 do.
Luca,
Hello.
you've been led up to Wolfram's the Fourth's quarters within the fortress. Second floor, not far from the main foyer. If you want to make an intelligence check to try and remember the route.
Absolutely. Intelligence is my strong suit.
Famously.
Yep, that's an 8.
Here we go.
Oh,
You're
Now
tired,
it's your turn.
man.
Yeah, and we just did exercise and shit, man.
You're
little bit
having
sleepy.
several emotional shock waves.
Yeah.
Your dog died. You remembered your childhood friend. You're conversing with a cultist who's heir to a legacy of massacre.
Yeah. Directions aren't on the forefront of my mind, unfortunately.
No. Nope. So, there are a few rooms here. You don't enter a bedroom, but a weapon room. So like this is a full-on armory, but like has clearly been also repurposed into somewhat of a study by Wolfram.
Okay.
So he pulls out his chessboard and sets up a game for the two of you.
Of course. Can I look around the room? Anything of note?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
21.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Okay, so what are you looking for specifically?
What type of weapons? Are they easy to access? Any hints of what him as a person? If he has stuff on his desk, what has he been studying?
Okay. So, a quick sweep of the room. These look to be various degrees of like Karnathi's standard issue military grade weapons. So like spears, short swords, crossbows, that sort of thing. You would guess looking at them that they are probably 25 to 30 years old, probably older, some of them. Weapons are expensive, especially swords to produce. That takes a lot of metal. And a lot of them are in like good condition. You've seen the weapons that the skeletons carry. Those are not in great condition, but these seem to be like almost little treasures. There's also a few non-standard issue weapons that have pride of place that are clearly like, oh, you've had an encounter and taken an enemy's weapon or picked up something for your own enjoyment, you know? The books all appear to be like thick tomes of magical use. There's like, you see one of them is like half propped open and you can see just like a page of dense arcane formula, like even like this is the kind of stuff that you would find in one of Willow's textbooks, sort of thing.
Slightly above my level.
Yes, just a bit.
Just a touch.
It's very much not your speed. Yeah, you can see there's like also other doors to other rooms that would be officers' quarters, but for some reason he set up his study in essentially like the armory.
Well, that's very telling about him as a person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his general demeanor at this point? Has it changed much?
I think he's still like condescending and egotistical, but he seems more comfortable now in the way of like, you're my captive audience here, so like now I get to play chess against you.
Oh,
Intellectual stimulation. Haha.
Ugh.
Oh.
Ugh. Okay then.
Did everyone just make the same face?
Yeah, I think we did.
Did everyone just like wither in real life? I just felt myself turn into a full sultana. Yuck.
0% water in me right now. I am
God.
completely nothing.
He sets up a game. the way this can go is either contested intelligence checks, or you can make an insight check against him.
Okay. If I use my insight, can I also use my sentinel's intuition, or is this just straight
Yes.
insight? Yeah,
Yes, you
because
can always
one of
use your
those is
sentinels.
-1, one of those is +3. I think I know which one I should go with.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Luca offers a handshake before they begin. Gentleman's game.
Which hand do you offer to shake?
Ooh.
Good question. I am left-handed. He was right-handed?
Yes.
I would have noted while we were sword fighting. I suppose, what percentage of the population in Khorvaire is lefty?
About the same as on Earth.
And that would be...
25%.
Okay, so the polite thing to do would be to offer him my flesh hand.
Yes.
Yes.
He shakes it.
Yeah. Firm grip.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't, like, uncomfortably so.
Mm-hmm.
He does that thing that, like, cis men sometimes do, where it's like, it's a handshake, but it feels like
A
an
competition.
arm wrestle. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just like, why are you crushing my fingers?
This didn't have to be a battle. We just finished that. Okay, let us commence then, in silence.
Not doing good.
Oh, 11
Okay.
versus your 8.
Yes, I think you make a significant dent in his forces.
Good start.
I think you can see that he gets a little irritated by that.
Are we playing one long round or multiple short rounds?
I'm gonna say one long round because I find that chess tends to take longer.
We ain't speeding this shit?
No,
Does speed chess exist in Khorvaire? That's good.
I'm sure it does, but I don't think he knows how to play it, nor do you.
No.
So, next part of the contest. Wow, rolling like shit, my dude.
Ooh.
9-9. You're
9.
at least in a stalemate at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How does he feel about that? I'm curious.
A little better, but he's still frustrated.
Okay.
I think he asks you, so, what position did you have in the army? If you remember that at all?
Luca doesn't look up from the chessboard. I was a knight captain. I remember that much.
Interesting.
I don't have the demeanor for it, do I?
I wouldn't know. I was never part of the Karnathi military.
Luca looks up at him, curious. You didn't... Sorry. Am I correct in assuming you spent most of your life here?
Yes, of course.
Interesting.
There's a little...
Oh, that's
What
a
do you
bit better for
mean?
you, boy.
That was
Oh, is that-
that was an insight check on you and what you meant by that.
Oh, how do I play this? How do I play this?
You could roll a charisma check to contest it. If you are contesting.
Ooh. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Ooh.
Oh god.
Nope, he sees through you.
Hmm.
What was that comment?
Luca gives him an apologetic smile. It seems a bit lonely.
It does take a certain strength of character to hold this post.
It's like, of course, of course. What about after our war is won? Will you stay here?
Perhaps. Perhaps if Lady Ilmarrow wills it, I will join her and take the campaign to the mainland and beyond. My father is getting on in his years.
Luca nods slowly.
He is more suited to logistical work. He says once my training is complete, I should be able to venture forth on missions of my own.
Oh. Ooh.
He's like clearly rattled by your comments, and his playing gets like even sloppier.
Oh. I almost feel bad for him. That is a natural 27.
Not bad enough, though.
Not that bad though, huh?
Wipes the floor.
With his face. Oh man. We
Ooh.
damn.
You have a choice here. On a nat 27 insight, you can basically use this game to get whatever information you want out of him.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you could even, like, he is so transparent to you that you could literally, like, completely bait him either into a dismal defeat, or you could throw the match and use that to basically gain you some kind of upper hand socially.
By that, what do you mean by that last bit, I guess? What would be
Use
the
your
advantage
loss.
of me losing? Would he be aware of the fact that I have, like, thrown it, first of all? Or I so far ahead that I can...
You're so far ahead that it's like you can see that he's clearly taking just the most direct brute force route of, like, there is very little strategy in his playing at the moment. Like, he's clearly just like, I just want to clear the board as fast as possible. So he's leaving pieces unguarded that he shouldn't be leaving unguarded in an attempt to, like, be, like, highly aggressive.
Okay.
And so
what benefits would there be to me? What was it? Throwing the game and, like, currying favor with father.
I think on that insight you have, like, a sense of, like, his ego is so brittle. Like, the more you let him win, the more he will underestimate you, the more you can get away with. Also, like, the more that he feels comfortable, the more you can, like, push him in directions. It's very much a, like, you've seen the kind of person he is, and you can see very clearly the steps of, like, which buttons to push to get which result you want. So it's not even a question of like how will he feel if I do this. It's like if I do this, this is how he will respond.
Okay. Just to consult with the demons in my head. Mim and Rom.
You call?
My initial response is for Luca to throw the game. How do we feel about that?
Consulting accounts.
Yes.
First of all,
Luca has to
congratulations on seeing through him.
Oh my
like
god,
Swiss
right?
cheese. Like golf claps.
Thank
Just
you.
at the moment when I was like, oh god, what a disgustingly transparent, pathetic person, Luca said, yeah, I can see it. Diagnosis received, Dr. Luca. Anyway, sorry, Rom, you answer the question. Rom, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, considering the situation, my instinct would also be to throw the match, but my more nuanced instinct is play it really close, show him his weaknesses, and then lose.
That's a nice way to put it.
So he's got these pieces that are, being left unguarded. Show him that he has left his ass out, essentially, on the chessboard. But still throw the match.
Caught you with your pants down on the battlefield.
Exactly.
Oh, Wolfriend, your ass is out. What? I'm seconding what Rom said. So I was gonna say, him underestimating you is one thing. He will never respect you, though. I feel like there is a level of like begrudging respect that can be put through. You basically know how to toe that line between basically ruining his ego so much that he doesn't want to talk to you anymore, because that would be the next step. It's like, well, actually die, because not for any active reason, just because I don't like you and you make me feel bad about myself, and I avoid thinking very much about myself, otherwise my pretty little life falls apart, etc. But also, like, part of that would be kind of letting his ego ride out a little bit more.
It also
So he's
feels a
not
bit
devastated.
uncharacteristic of Luca to try and break someone emotionally. So
No, and I feel like in your, like, this is my question, I guess, to Luca too. Your seeker brain. Unfortunately, the thing with Luca is he's always trying to give someone a chance, right? I feel like you would be exempting yourself from a position to potentially help him if you emotionally devastate him so much that he can't deal being with you, around you. You know? So it does, what Rom said seems fair to me, because it's got that kind of like combatant thing. Like, he respected you in the spar because you posed a decent challenge, but you still lost. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like your older lion kind of, letting the lion cub feel strong because it's like bitten you. It's like, ooh, good one. But I could have eaten you, but I didn't, You left your, look, see, a warthog could have gotten you just that, that kind of energy that Luna's got. It's so tasty, by the way. Again, anyway.
Okay. Now that the demons are gone, we will play this very safe. I do think Luca would make it a challenge for him to win.
Yeah.
Rather, not necessarily like putting him on the run, but more so proving that he defensively.
I think what you do is that you play defensively, where like for every aggressive move he makes, you like slightly punish him for it, of like putting him in a difficult situation, so he has to like backtrack and avoid getting his king captured.
I think ideally I would try to put him in a position where he has to reevaluate his initial first assumptions as much as possible to get him in the mindset of questioning his own instincts.
Oh my god. You're gonna teach him critical thinking.
Yeah, ideally.
Oh my god. Whoa.
I think on that big of a nat 20, I think you succeed. Of like,
hell yeah.
Of challenging him in that way.
Before we get to that, though, I would like to have like a closer look at his tattoos if I can,
Oh yes, you can see
especially
more
while
of
we're
them
like
now.
leaning over the board. You know.
Yes, you can see more of them. They do appear to like they are sort of like surrounding his neck and then going down under the shirt. You can also see like little bits of them peeking out around his wrist. Make an Arcana check.
Oh, my forte. Oh, 12. Not the worst.
Not the worst. You narrowly missed a nat one.
I did. I was holding my breath.
We all were. I could hear it. It looks like tattoos of spell work of some kind. Not necessarily in the way of like it's a magical tattoo, but it's like, think of it like writing notes on your body of like these are spells that he readily makes use of frequently,
Oh.
and they've been etched into his skin.
Interesting. So, is it kind of like the way N has a spell book, he has his body?
Yeah, maybe.
Fascinating. He might catch Luca staring? Maybe at his hands, I suppose.
Does he?
Oh, sweetie, you
No.
No. Yeah. That's all right. It's fine. He can focus on learning how to be a human being.
But as your game comes to a close and Wolfram says, "Well played."
I really thought I was going to win for a moment there. Luca sighs and like places his hand over the board, like back of his hand up, expectantly. Kind of braces himself.
For what?
I don't know, what? Can you figure it out?
He extends a hand to shake it.
Luca smiles and shakes his head. In my childhood, when one was declared a winner, the other gently smacks the top of his hand.
Oh.
We would try to see who could make the red last longer, generally. So, have at it.
All right. Smacks your hand.
Oh, yep. Good. Luca shakes it off playfully.
How about a second round? Start setting up the pieces.
I'm gonna assume he went white first. He seems like that kind of guy.
Actually, I think he plays black.
Oh, fascinating.
She's a reaction person.
Yeah. Luca makes a point of swapping their pieces now.
I think as you are in the middle of setting up the board again, there's a knock at the door, and Madame Agatha comes in, bearing a meal on a tray.
Oh my god, Luca's whole body grumbles in hunger.
She says, "Lunch, young master." And Wolfram says, "Ah, Agatha. Just set it aside for the moment."
Can I make an insight check on their relationship?
Sure.
Oh, not my finest. That's a 17.
17.
Ooh.
I think Wolfram notices you look at the food and is like, bring another plate up for our guest here. And Agatha nods. Very well.
Luca perks
I'll
up
send
slightly.
a body along.
How are they with each other?
Cool but familiar. He clearly treats her as like a distant servant.
Mm-hmm.
And she clearly has no warmth or affection for him either.
Oh, wow. His life is so sad. Like, he is pitiful.
And as she taps her bone staff again to command a skeleton, she says, I would remind you that your father is waiting on the equations. Wolford says, yes. I'll hand them in after lunch. She nods. And he, like, dismisses her, and she leaves.
Go raises a curious brow. You some sort of mathematician as well?
Arcane formula.
Ah, of course.
My father has high expectations for me continuing my personal studies.
What sort of magics are you studying?
Necromancy, of course.
Of course.
Everything to do with running the fortress, furthering our research, our goals, as part of the Order. Unlocking the secrets of death.
Fortunate to have such a sharp mind in that.
He stands up and says, I suppose our game will have to wait.
Luca looks in a way of asking why.
I must complete my studies for the day.
Of course. Shall I leave you two?
You may stay.
Generous once again. Unfortunate for me. Luca reclines very comfortably.
As comfortably as you can on these very
Yes.
austere chairs.
I'm also a big
It is.
guy. Reclining isn't
Easy at the
easily
best of
done.
times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Might start playing against himself for the moment,
Yeah.
just to look busy.
I will say the furniture is in this part of the fortress is built sturdy enough and is like maintained enough that like you're not worried about it splintering from rot. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Fair.
way a lot of other stuff was like, ooh, this is trash, essentially. This belongs in a thrift store or a tip.
Can I bother him while he's studying?
Yes.
Is he open to talking about himself?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
I will say with advantage because you have seen through him.
26.
26. Wait, Sentinel's intuition shouldn't be on persuasion, should it?
Oh no, sorry, 23.
Just a 23.
Just a mod than
Just.
23.
Yeah, what do you want to know about him?
His history, I suppose. Specifics. Ooh, very nice. There's a 19 Arcana from our boy.
Yes, he's doing his homework.
Oh no! This is so embarrassing for him. Like, his dad is like, "Hey, finish your homework, even though you've got a friend over." You know? Oh, anyway, I want to know his actual like personal history. So, like, was he born here, and how long has he ever actually left this place?
Yeah.
Um.
Okay, so yes, he was born here. He has lived here most of his life. He has never been away for a very he's never lived anywhere else, but he has certainly visited Farlnen, and some of the ships of the Bloodsails fleet on excursions.
I'm gonna assume that Farlnen is a very dreary place compared to somewhere like
Oh, yeah.
Salvage.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's called the Sunless Isle,
Oh my god.
and has probably the highest population of vampires in
Ugh.
Eberron.
This is a pasty army, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Pasty and ashy.
yeah.
What is his relationship? Like, I'm going to ask him what his relationship to Madame Agatha is.
She's a servant.
Of course. Can I ask him about his mother?
Oh.
He will say, she died when I was young.
Condolences are given very politely. Of course, it's Luca.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
He does not seem to be affected by it very much.
Oh.
You assume because he was like either too young to remember, or because he has been taught not to care.
Without asking in so many words, I want to know if he has doubts about his father's capabilities.
Absolutely none.
Okay. What else? What else do I need to know? Demons.
I will say I can give you a little extra juice on the question about his father. His
Yes.
father is not a frontline combatant and never has been.
Mm-hmm.
But for that, he wields tremendous magical power and is like a very skilled wizard. I mean, obviously, he commands this entire army, this entire fortress.
Mm-hmm.
And he is teaching his son how to do that one day himself.
Okay, interesting. Luca makes a comment about him being like the powerful sword that protects and is wielded by his father in a very complimentary way.
He likes that a lot.
Of course he does. Can I ask who taught him combat then, if it was not his father?
It was, I believe they're called the Grim Lords.
Oh, of course.
Basically another member of the Emerald Claw.
Okay.
From Farlnen specifically. Came to, like, when he was traveling with his father, to Farlnen, he, got a chance to be tutored
Mm-hmm.
for a while, and ever since then he's been honing his skills on his own from manuals and practice.
Mm. I see. Demon A, you were saying?
Which one of us is Demon A? One of the questions I was going to lob in there, just off the back of what you were sort of selling him with the chess game.
Mm-hmm.
The question of like, yes, that's what you've been set up for, but what do you want to do? kind of just lobbed in there? Like, what else would you like? If not for this, what would you do? That kind of question. I just feel like that kind of is in line with your like. You butted him up so well. You could also chuck a little thought in there, but if not for what you were told to do, what else would you do? You know, that kind of question. Not said like that.
That's what I tried to do, but he kind of got away from me. Well, when I asked like, what will you do after we've won? That was kind of my, what do you want? You know?
Oh no, I'm just saying because you're in reported speech, like just info farming at the moment. Like maybe that's a little thing you can lob in there for a potential reaction, or just plant a seed. Ron will probably have more tactical insights. Maybe. Demon B.
I mean, asking about his father and his father's, capabilities, that's good to know. I guess one of my thoughts would be like, other than the people who trained him, I mean, did they come here and train him? Did he go out elsewhere? Does he travel? Do people come here? Are there supply runs? Where's your teleportation circle?
Yeah, actually, the teleportation circle question.
How do you
is key.
casually ask that though?
Well, like, do you have any guests?
How do you
they
travel?
get
You
here?
receive
How do you
guests.
travel?
That's
Like,
true. That's true. How do you travel?
Yeah, travel by ship. You know.
How do you get supplies here? Might be a good start.
That's true. Luca, very, very concerned about food.
Give me a persuasion check to see how. This would be straight. See how much.
Oh, natural one.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Ugh.
Uh-oh.
So I don't listen to the demons.
Hey.
You ask the demons. Ask stupid questions, get stupid prizes.
Roll stupid dice. That's your cursed hand, not ours. Back into mute with us.
Let's go, Demon A.
Be gone, demons.
We link arms.
The demons retreat back into hell.
Enjoy your nat 1.
Enjoy your
I will.
consequences. Yes. Next time, do not consult us. We were busy.
Okay, so I think you poorly word this. I will leave it up to you how you poorly word and betray like that you are actively fishing for tactical information.
Oh. My thought was, Anne was the one who told me that there's probably a teleportation circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Luca might ask the question having information that he shouldn't have in that way. Yeah. So something like, oh, you must get your supplies through the teleportation circle in the fortress, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that sets him off as like, that's a weird thing to ask. Let's see how well he can bluff. Make an insight check for me.
This is my wheelhouse.
Okay, you got in that 20 before. I'm brave.
Can you shut your face? That's a natural one.
Wow.
I didn't pray for that.
You speaking is the curse. Be gone, demon.
He says this, and you have no choice but to believe him, is that teleportation circle. That would be a terrible tactical breach. My father destroyed it when Karnath betrayed us.
Ugh, yeah, that makes sense. That unfortunately makes a lot of sense. Okay, Luca is like, okay, that makes tactical sense. Because if he was a teleportation circle, anyone could have access to it. It's fine. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. I think Luca... Does Luca feel like he can tell that his good favor is starting to slip a little bit?
You can
For the
definitely
moment.
tell that you've stepped in it.
Okay. Do I have food at this point? That is an important
Yes,
question.
food has arrived and you are able to eat. It is very bland, like fish soup and a sort of gray bread.
I'm going to tell him about delicious foods that I've eaten.
Cool. Make a persuasion check.
Oh my gosh, it's an 11.
11. I think he is only half listening to you at this point.
Yes. Luca's mostly talking to keep himself awake and not talk about things that are potentially dangerous. Ooh, eating food is not inherently suspicious.
No. I would also like you to give me a perception check to, like, kind of look over his shoulder as he's working.
9.
9.
I'm flavoring this as Luca is actively distracted by the food because he is hungry.
Yeah, it's been a good while since you've eaten. Like, even though this is bland, it's like, oh god, food.
And it's hot, you know?
Yeah. I would also like you to give me a little wisdom save.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh, 13.
There's something about this setup that feels familiar, but you can't put your finger on it, so maybe it's just continued vague memories of what your school must have been like with Ulrich.
Can you hear me smiling? Yeah, it feels familiar. Weird. I think for a moment Luca has like the spoon in his mouth and he kind of just lingers staring at Wolfram with that weird feeling of familiarity before shaking it off and continuing to eat. He's going to eventually peter out into quietness because he can tell he fucked up.
We cut to the cavern deep under Fort Fathomless, where Anne, Emma, Gardenia, Glenn Lockwood, and Dorna have reunited with the rest of the Storm Chaser crew, who are camping out, essentially, in this little cavern. One of the triplets is holding up, like, a raggedy sheet that they appropriated from the prison cells to hide Blossom as she is changing back into clothes.
Cute.
And in the other corner, like, the other two triplets are, like, poking at what looks like a blob of goo
Huh.
on the floor. Like, sort of vaguely transparent.
I wasn't there when I came down the first time, was it?
No. That's recent.
That's new. The goop is
Yeah.
new.
The goop is new. The vaguely transparent, goopy, tubey thing is new. But yeah, Emma, you've been down there for a little bit, and Emma has sort of done a debriefing of what's going on upstairs and wants to know what they've found out.
Yeah, and it's probably like listening in, but not busting in to interrupt.
So yeah, Emma explains. Think the engine room will probably start overheating in a few hours, and hopefully it'll cause enough damage that they'll be busy. Blossom, what did you find? And Blossom, she like adjusts her like porcelain mask and wig on her head, and she will say, You were correct. It does lead to the bottom of the ocean. I tried to catch a fish, but it is somewhat disformed. She gestures at the blob of goop.
And looks at the blob of goop.
Make a nature check.
Oh, good.
Is that when? Oh, hell yeah!
19.
Yes!
So, I'm going to tell you what it is, and you're going to tell me how the fuck you know that. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah. Hit me.
It is a sea pig.
Oh,
Oh,
that makes sense.
Oh.
Which is a blobby little animal that lives at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah. Okay.
so
So
cute.
I feel like Umida
Yeah.
has certain phases where she gets obsessed with certain animals, especially when she was little. And she
Yeah.
will go on little rants about these various cute, quote-unquote, animals that she's learned about from reading her books. And it's something about this one has just stuck with me because it's so fucking weird. And it also reminds me of myself. You know, like,
Oh my gosh.
that when Umida went on her little rant with her book, excitedly talking about the sea pig. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. A sea pig. It's just one of those memories. You know how sometimes you learn just those weird
Yeah.
details and they just stick for some reason?
Yeah.
Like you don't remember stuff for
Yeah.
an important test, but this one little weird detail. stuck.
Yeah, you saw an illustration of it.
Yeah, she's showing
that
me
she,
the
like-
illustration. I see her. I see her holding the book at me. While I'm like trying to have a
And
sandwich.
she- and it looks like a sort of ghostly balloon with a bunch of weird little tentacles on it. Umida was like, they live at the bottom of the sea,
Yeah.
around 500 to 6,700 meters under the sea, and they are typically like they don't have any bones. And they live under such high pressure that if you bring them up to air, they die immediately, which is very sad because she would love to pet
Oh.
one.
Yeah. And then I can just imagine
gosh.
Neve in the background, like, just like you, to N. You have no bones and several tentacles, and you're
Oh
squishy.
my god.
If I take you too high, you'll also die.
And ghostly.
Oh man. Can I raise a quick question? Can you remind us who Umida is?
Umida is one of the other orphans that N met way back when they were in the orphanage. They met her alongside Neve when they were about 10-ish.
Yeah.
And they both, she helped with the bakery caper. She gave us hairpins.
Ah, yes. Half orc?
Yes.
Yes.
Cute. And also, I imagine N remembering this for the same reason that you remember what a mountain chicken is, because you hear the word sea pig, but you're looking like that's a slug. You know? Why is it
That's
called
not a
that?
that's not a
Yeah,
pig
it's
at
not a
all.
Yeah, we've made the meme before about N being like, "What's a fucking mountain chicken? It's this." Yeah. Yeah. So,
This motherfucker.
Yeah. So, Umida, accident prone, very sweet. Likes animals. Likes small animals.
Yeah.
Likes weird animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that why she likes you?
Probably.
aww.
Blossom continues talking. I did not wander very far, but it looks like there is more machinery at the bottom of the ocean and the remains of several disarticulated skeletons. It is very, very deep underwater. I could not see the light of the surface. And I was like, well, shit, that's probably not a good way out.
Anne's gonna go over to the edge of the dock, kneel down towards the water, push back their hair, take a deep breath, and dunk their face into it and look with their dark vision and see what they can see.
Okay. Yeah, give me a perception check.
It's so odd.
You're gonna be so soggy.
You look like I care.
Your eyeliner.
It's
Your
not real.
eyeliner.
16.
16. Yeah. So you see sort of like this gray, sort of sandy bottomed underwater flooring that stretches out. You can see in the distance the dim shape of like large mechanical augers that lead to pumps and stuff. So maybe not storing oil, but actively drilling oil
Yeah, that makes sense.
from the bottom of the ocean and using skeletons to transport it. This is the kind of thing where, like, surely there would be diving suits or something. Surely this can't just be done by the undead. But this place is so old. On a 16 perception, you spot the wrecked remains of something. It looks like a capsule sort of thing, but large, with fins made of metal, heavily rusted.
Does it kind of look like a mini submarine?
Yeah. To the audience, it looks like a mini
Yeah.
submarine, but I don't know if N knows what a submarine is.
Yeah, I'm just like, for my mental picture.
Yeah, it's sort of like, think like a metal, I guess I would describe it as like the shape of a catfish, but large enough for a person to sit inside. Broken.
Interesting. But that's way, way deep. I'm estimating, could I dive down there to look, or is it like, couldn't even make it / once you make it, you immediately have to surface kind of depths?
Here's the thing. The water, like, you can see out because there's like a little sort of curved out. There must be some sort of magic in place keeping this air pocket stabilized in this room, because as soon as you put your face in the water, you feel like a huge like weight pressing on your face.
Water
just from
pressure.
like the
Yeah.
of just like, it feels like you're trying to press your face into a wall almost.
Just did that today. Yeah. Okay. So diving would probably not be healthy, considering the depth we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which signified by the sea pig, and there's no magic preventing
Yeah.
me from also getting like squanched
Yeah.
if I go into the water. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. And they'll pull their face out. Hey, Blossom, was it?
Yes.
You notice that, like, big tube with the fins down there? You get a look at that?
Oh, the mechanical wreckage. I had a glance at it, but I was not incredibly certain about approaching it closely.
How strong are you? Anybody got any rope?
Emma says, "What kind of wreckage is it?"
Looks like some kind of pod. There might be something in it. Or maybe something we can do with it? Doesn't... Correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't look like it really belongs here.
It does look like it belongs here, but it looks like it was broken long ago.
Yeah. But it's not like part of the pumps. It's something else.
No. It's like a distinct piece of machinery that, like, maybe once upon a time they used it to
Yeah.
do stuff. But Blossom replies, "I am quite strong."
We got time on our hands. You're feeling fancy. Might be worth looking at the thing.
Certainly. Emma says, "Before we get into any other plans, She points at you, and you said you needed a rest.
And is currently sitting on the dock, spreads their arms. Like I'm resting.
Emma gives you the look of like, uh-huh.
Why do
Sure.
I imagine this exact scenario happening with Fender and Emma?
I'm so sorry.
I'm also so sorry.
Do you want me to rest in a particular place? I can move.
She rolls her eyes. Look, we're all in this together, and if any of us overexerts ourselves, we're all gonna suffer for it.
Yeah, look. My magic? I only got a bit in me before I run dry. Then I need to rest for a little bit. Just a little bit, like hour tops, and then I'll be back to full capacity.
She nods.
I can hit real hard, but only for a small amount of time.
Makes sense. Then, take your hour. Sure, Blossom, Dorna, and the rest of us can rig something together to pull that wreckage out of the water. Then we can all have a closer look.
Sounds good. And hey, look. If any of you want to talk, all I'm gonna be doing is sitting here. I know this is a fucked up situation. Best we all just try and get on the same page.
Emma nods. Yeah. Any word from the others?
Well, last I was talking with Fender, it was to try and sabotage the engine. I can check in with them, though. No problems there. I'll, pop out their book with the indication that they'll go ahead and do that. If that's everything for now.
Emma's also going to ask, and the guy upstairs?
Yeah, Luca. Last I heard, his cover was holding. But we'll find out, won't we?
The more we know, the better.
Now that we do agree on.
And that's where we'll end episode.
That'll do, Sea Pig. That'll do.
That'll do.
Ah.